Greetings, salutations everyone, welcome back. We are playing some more Limbus Company today, and I'm excited. Last time we finished Time Killing Time, and I can't remember what's he called, the guy we defeated, the time serial killer distortion guy. And we met the director of T-Cope. It was very fun. I enjoyed it immensely, honestly. And that chapter was right up my alley. Chapters round. Intervallo's correct. We're going to be moving on to the next part of Intervallo for today with the rope train. Totally not quite yet, but Mado and the Rope Express. I guess it's the Rope Express, not the Rope Train, but you know, same difference, why not? I'm excited. I have also finished reading Don Quixote since the last stream, and actually I found it to be quite tragic. Very good book though, highly recommend reading Don Quixote, honestly. Yeah, anyways, a few things in consideration. One, think I'm still not actually exactly sure how C-I-N-Q is pronounced. East Section 3 Honolulu is out and available, since Wednesday of this week? A few days now, I think. is what it is. I am thinking of pulling for him. Largely because he's a Boona character and probably just better than my current Honolulu and my Boona team. And I kind of want to make my Boona team as good as it can be. That said, I'm not sure he's exactly amazing. But, you know, comparatively to Liu Association South. I was reading through his abilities and he kind of seems a little meh, little whatever, but kinda thinking of pulling for him regardless. Let's see. So, also, in addition to that consideration, there's another consideration I've had, and that's what team we're actually going to use when we go through the next chapter, Don Quixote's chapter. My preference is to use some sort of team with Don Quixote on it. If you're unaware, I have 3 primarily good Don Quixotes. My Index Proxy, Love and Hate, and Manager of La Mancha Land. I'd kind of like to use Manager of La Mancha Land, but she synergizes with other La Mancha Land identities, and I don't have any. I might be able to use Yellow Baxes to get another La Mancha Land identity, but if I do that, I'm going to need to obviously kind of decide what one that is that I'm going to be getting, and I'm unsure currently. Which is actually part of the reason I'm thinking we do these pulls, because I'd like to get showered. Maybe it's silly. We're going to do these though. At least some. I'm pretty sure Dream of Red Chamber is one of the longest books in history. Yeah. Okay, this looks good. Just so it's clear, I'm not going to be definitely reading what gets voted in the poll, but I'm going to consider it. I mean, they want the shouts, come on. 한루?
좀 지나갈게요.
Wait!
대리결투로 온 건 아니니까 하시던 거 계속 하셔도 된답니다. 여기 유포맨 하나요.
Okay, yeah, that works. Sure. Fantastic. That works for me.
어이가 없군. 병소리나 하고 있으라니.
What? This is actually interesting. I think this is my first 000 Ryoshu that I have actually pulled. I have a one, but I think I used shouts to get here. I'm actually not certain though. But it is my second 000 Ryoshu. A fantastic double. Oh yeah, and W cope as well. Yeah. Oh nice. Okay, I guess that's the end of the extractions though, because I don't think I wanted to spend. I was actually hoping to get more shards. Half of what I wanted was actually some more shards. I also realized, so I have the list of the 5 La Mancha land IDs open in a tab here. I have the manager of La Mancha land. I don't have Prince, Princess, Baobab, or Priest. But at least this list I'm looking at here lists the prince as the most powerful. But just a few minutes before the stream, I looked at this and realized the prince is the only one I actually can't dispense, because he is on a different season. There's Princess, Priest, Baobab there. So I could theoretically dispense either the Princess, the Baobab, or the Priest, but I don't know. Yeah, previous season from the current. Okay, so actually though, let's switch Liu Association South out for Sync Association East Section 3. I'm not applying him yet though. I think the best option of those 3 is the Princess. Maybe Baobab if you want to use... Oh, wait, that's a good point. Okay, I'll probably be doing... So, if I do a La Mancha land team... Okay, so my current thought is I might be able to dispense one of the La Mancha land IDs before we get to the Canto 7. I have the manager, so I don't need to do that. Can't do the prince. And so those 3 are the ones on the table. I will, however, be able to almost... actually just... whatever. No, just... This isn't what I want to see. I just want to see where's a battle. Where's a battle? I'm almost certainly going to be able to use a support for one of them, so I can get a... In that case, maybe I dispense Otis, the Baobab. I can use Gregor as a support, and in the place of Radian... Oh wait, no! Even though I can't dispense him, I can... There, I can actually use a support Prince of La Mancha land. And then I dispense the Baobab and use those 3 with a Curine identities, including Radiant. Okay, I think we have a plan. But for now, we're not quite there yet. We are on a first class ride. I won't lie, I'm not sure how safe this ride is going to be. Just I'm not sure. I think I have about 177 yellow boxes right now. And I haven't done 2 of my mirror dungeons this week, so that's at least a handful more yellow boxes, and... Yeah, I think I'd be able to dispense one of them, yeah. Our company is paying extra to treat us right. Yeah. Yeah. The princess if you want more blood feast. That's a thought. Also, I suppose it also depends on which. So if I'm going to kind of do a hybrid La Mancha Land arena team, it only matters if I'm using the Reen Radian on the team if I want to avoid dispensing the La Mancha Land Radian. I'm going to have to decide. Also, I saw that I think different La Mancha Land IDs empower different ones of Dan Quixote's abilities as the manager, which is, it seems cool. Alright, how did this happen? First, we boarded the rope train to get to our next destination, P-Cope. Interesting, I wasn't actually sure what cope we were going to next. P-Cope. Do I have any idea what the P would be related to? P. No, I can't think of. Got into our fancy first class flash freeze hibernation capsules and we were supposed to arrive at P-Cope after a quick blink of an eye, but...
제대로 듣고 계신 건가요?
Dante,
지금.
please respond. There's... The first thing I saw when my vision returned was the perplexed look on a Faust who had entered hibernation at the same time as I did. If I remember correctly, there was an abnormality in lobotomy cope that was plastered with peas to shelter. Ooh. Then I realized that we woke up mid-transit on the rope train. That's interesting, the flash freezing about. That wasn't what I anticipated. I anticipated like a super fast train, not a cryogenic train. Which could only mean that we're now stranded in some lost unknown dimension. What? Also, this is very different. We're not getting like a Dante text box down here at the bottom. We're getting like narration in the middle of the screen. Priest Greg empowers us one. Bauber empowers us two. Princess empowers defense.
단테. 혼란스럽겠지만.
Also, wait. I was looking at the prince's ability. If the princess is on the field and the prince is on the field, both deal bonus damage. And if I'm going to be using the... If I'm going to use the prince as a support, then maybe I get the princess. The first class has cryogenic pads. Standard tickets do not. That is interesting. The very idea that a first class travel would be cryogenics seems bizarre in my mind. I paid first class money for this and I'm going to go crawl into that capsule. Dante, I understand your considerable degree of disorientation, but... What? What the hell happened? First things first. Let's rewind and return to the very start of this highly unfavorable situation we find ourselves in. A few days ago.
다음 행선지는 워프 열차입니다. 단테.
You also get food. I don't think this sounds very first class. Our destination, our next destination is to a rope train, Dante. What? Oh, also something I haven't mentioned yet. So since I finished the reading Don Quixote, and since I know what the name of the next chapter is, it's like the, what is it, like the dream ending or something? I'm terrified as to what the dream ending is going to mean in this case. I found it so sad, the end of Don Quixote, and so very, I don't know. What? Yep, that's where it all started. There I was, still perplexed by the incidents at Teacup, with my awful idea of clearing the air by asking Virgilius for our next destination, not knowing the storm that my innocent question would bring. Our Don Quixote will have a happy ending. I'm not sure I believe that. I would question calling the end of any of the cantos so far happy. Some of them are, not terribly sad endings, but most of them are maybe bittersweet. Verily, I must have misheard. I'm quite certain you didn't, Don Quixote. We are now en route to the Teacup Rope train station. That rope train station must have some conundrum that must be resolved. There indeed a quest that must swiftly be addressed at the station, yes? A quest. The distortion patron of the rope platforms or something. I see that you are now significantly disinclined to take on some side jobs, but no. How do I use Himiko? No, but she does less damage than change. You have to use her with other trailblazers, and you have to build the trailblazers for whichever stance you're using Himiko Nova with. I'm still working on my Himiko Nova team myself.
피사로 이동하기 위해 워프 열차에 직접 탑승한다. 문자 그대로 받아들이면 될 일이지.
Which, by the way, I got my second Eidolon on Himiko Nova, so I have 2 Eidolons on her. I have her on a team with Walt Mauch, Dan Hannenpum, and so whatever he's called. Nice. You might actually want to switch Mouch out for some sort of amplifier, is my guess. And like a lot of it is about building up your energy. And because her ult does so much damage. Sunday is really good on that team. I wish I had Sunday to put on my team with him. With her. I was also thinking about the fact that Sunday would be nice on my team with Fine on as well. So Sunday would go well on multiple of my teams. We are boarding the rope train to get to Teacup. End of story. There's nothing between the lines, so don't try reading into it. What do they do with Mephistopheles? Never planned to pull for him. That's fair. I've never done any pulls for him. He's currently on my list of would be nice to have, but I don't know when I'd get him. It was only natural that the sinners immediately fell into a state of collected, dumbfounded shock. None of the sinners have any history of working at W Cope, but we're actually taking that train. Through what vague information we could gather from identities. Oh, that is interesting. We all had some fragmentary knowledge that the terrible secrets of the rope train operation. Speaking of identities, there's something I've been thinking about. You know, we need another identity. I initially considered hiding this information from the rest of the sinners, but since sharing things with everyone and letting them get their 2 cents in, it usually ended up being pretty helpful. I've been sharing more of these as of late.
인격을 사용했을 때의 기억은 흐릿하다 못해 없는.
Should I use Remembrance Trailblazer? Yes. Particularly if you focus on the stance that Walt gives you, Charon, because the stance that Walt gives you cares about getting lots of hits in on the enemies, and Remembrance Trailblazer is good at getting hits in. I think the salmon counts for those. But you know we need so I was thinking about it. I don't know any abilities that identities have been shown to not be able to do. Identities can do like so many different things, like a replicating thing. What about an identity of Dante? And then we have another person to resurrect sinners. That's my idea. Now I have very dim, if present at all, recollection from the time during which I wear the identities. It can be determined from the conversational records between the manager and the identities that the mechanisms behind rope trains operations can be deemed as somewhat bizarre and inefficient. What if every Limbus player is just another ID for Dante? I hadn't thought of that. You might be right. Oh yeah! It's that 10-second trip that actually takes a long time, right? And when the train reaches the destination, they just wipe the passengers' memories? I also heard that the passengers get so weary of boredom, they start literally ripping and tearing into one another.
오랜만에 걸작품을 들여다볼 수 있겠군.
Sounds like I might finally have a chance to see a masterpiece with my own eyes. Even when the sinners wear the identities through my identity cards, the identities' memories or beliefs don't bleed into them once it's over and done with. Hey, welcome, Shadow. You out here. Oh, they're going out of business? I remember when Faust explained that due to the risks associated with embracing such influences, there was a filtering process to intentionally block them from reaching the sinners. That's why the sinners could use the identities of some of our worst enemies without getting infected by their philosophies and whatnot. That is some interesting lore building right there. Ah, nicely done, Shadow. I have not at all gotten there. But it also meant that they couldn't retain any information that each identity had to offer. That's why I keep a record of some things that sound particularly important and sometimes share it with the rest of the sinners. My voice doesn't really carry well past the window, so most of our communications are one-sided, but... Oh. I had an abundance of W code identity, so it was it wasn't difficult to piece together the truth behind the trains. the fact that it's saying this as I have just pulled a new W code identity. Perfect. But, maybe ignorance really is bliss.
여러분의 이런 동요와 반발은
Your collective agitation and possible incompliance have already been anticipated. Oh, fantastic. Lady Faust! Then thou hast known this all along? Wherefore hast thou not deigned to tell me of this?
파우스트는 모든 것을 알고 있으니까요. 당연히 여러분이 떠올린 문제를 해결할 방법도 준비해 두었습니다.
Faust has indeed known this all along, as no knowledge is out of Faust's reach. Naturally, a solution to your dilemma has already been prepared.
열차를 탄다는 사실이 변하질 않는데 방법이 있다고요?
I seriously doubt your solution involves not getting on the train. So what is it?
버스. 이
The bus? Oh, what about the bus? There's no way this thing fits inside a train car.
카론도 반대. 내피 말고
Seven
다른
vetoes too.
내피
No one to feed Muffy when Karen's gone.
파우스트 씨,
Miss Faust.
워프 열차의 최후미는
The real
화물칸으로
most tail
편성되어
cows of rope trains are all freight cows.
함께
That is where
움직이게 되죠.
Muffy's Daffleys will be safely fastened and transported.
또한
And the LCB will
1등석을 통해
have
이동할
the
예정입니다.
benefit of boarding as first-class passengers. The bus begins to swell with noise again, though in a slightly different air to the alarmed response from earlier.
등석이라면
First-class passengers? What? The seats for those pompous toffs?
누구는 표 살
Even on normal trains, you've got those sods whose proudest accomplishments in life is planting their houses in a first-class seat, while others are cramming themselves into freight cars because they haven't the cash for even an economy ticket.
왜 저를 노려보시는 건데요? 전 그런데 앉아본 적 없단 말이에요.
No first-class passengers going missing. And you know, there has never been a murder on any train, right? There's no stories about murders on expresses or anything. No mystery novels about that or anything. It's fine. It's fine. Why are you glaring at me like that? I've never been in one of those first-class seats before either.
자리 하나에 날개 직원 초봉 서너 달치는 된다던데 회사 재정 괜찮은
Isn't
거
the
맞아?
ticket for a single first-class seat like as expensive as 3 or 4 months' salary of a first-year Wien employee? Can our budget really handle getting a ticket for us each?
걱정할 만한 재정 상태는
Oh, right.
아니죠.
And Agatha was mentioned last chapter, last Intervallo. The company's budget is not a subject that warrants your concern.
개인 캡슐
I heard first class passengers get some cool bonus stuff, like personalized private capsules or something, don't they? Wait! The implication of that? What's the alternative to private capsules?
그런 식으로 홍보하곤 하죠. 엄밀하게는
This is the promotional language, yes. They are flash freeze hibernation capsules, to be precise.
워프 열차가
They have been
실제 이동하는
designed to
시간을
easily
상으로도
withstand
안정적인
the
작품이 되는
true
승무원이
amount of time it takes for the rope
눈을
train
감았다가
to
떴을
travel
뿐인데
from point
도착한
A
것과 다를
to
바 없는
point
체감일
B.
것입니다.
Passengers will feel as though the trip is over in the blink of an eye.
그래도 회사의 배려에
The company's regard for our well-being is unfamiliar, yet welcome to be provided such extravagant merely for our comfort. Such occurrence is quite seldom.
그러게. 원래 같았으면 길잡이 씨랑 카론만 슬쩍 1등
Right? I honestly thought they were going to just slip just the guide and Karan into the first class seats and ship the rest of us in the economy cars.
구태여 천원을 안치기보단 관리자님과
Hmm.
그 충실한
This
조력자가
seems
있어도
like an
충분했었겠지.
unnecessary luxury. They should have saved their budget and given only the executive manager and their loyal advisor access to those seats. Otis,
다들 왜 이렇게 호들갑인지. 다음 임무를 위해
let's
가는
not get
것이니만큼
ahead of
워프 열차가
ourselves.
가지는 특수성에
We're
대해
taking the
궁금하고
train to
걱정도
get to our
모자랄
next mission, alright? We have to think about the unique nature of rope trains and prepare ourselves accordingly. Okay, I'm really wondering how long this is going to take. Okay. If nothing was to go wrong on the rope train, and it was to peel like a blink of an eye for it, how much time would actually have passed while we were in cryogenics? I'm wondering. Right? I know it's first class and that, but rope trains are just plain creepy. I know you'd also be worried about.
1등석 칸은 일반석 승객들이
For
함부로 올수 없는
example,
공간이라는
economy
것도
passengers
알아주셔도
are
좋을
going
거예요.
to have a hard time getting into a first class car, if they can even attempt to open it. I mean, I'm pretty sure the door separating the cars is ironclad. Ishmael, who'd been holding that first-class promotional pamphlet in her hands for a while, was chattering on with fire in her eyes.
그러니까
We won't
저희는
even
따로
have to
전투를
lift a
치를
finger.
필요가 없이
We
편안하게
just
눈을
have to
감으면
board
되는 거라고요.
the train, get into our
옛날에
capsules,
재정이 더 좋았을 무렵에는
shut our eyes,
기념품도 하나씩
and
줬었거든요.
snooze through the entire ride until all of that mess in the other cows blows over. I heard they used to give out commemorative merch back when their finances weren't in the gutter and... Ishmael? Oh.
모험에는 항상 고난이
A true adventure is not without its hardships. Yet, even the most exalted of heroes cannot venture without respite. And in very rare occasions, the hero may even deign to select a first-class seat to rest in place of a quainting. Indeed. So, we are going to be resting in a castle instead of resting in the wilderness, eating berries and nuts and herbs. seems like everyone was at least somewhat interested in the abled first-class seats of warp trains. I could sense that there was a growing consensus among the sinners that even a warp train trip might be acceptable if it meant they could ride in the first-class seats.
타야 한다면 타겠다.
I will board the train master. There. Let me speak proper. I will board the train if I must.
꼭 1등석에
A
타야만 되니
first class seating is mandatory. I prefer the scenic route. Don't want to miss out on all the fun. Yikes. Virgilius pretended to not hear Ryoshu's question.
좋아.
Very well. Then I assume that we are all in agreement.
말하도록 하지.
Let's go.
저 가장
I've a matter of great import to discuss with thee.
뭐냐? 답지 않게 쭈뼛거리고.
What is it? Out with it, lass. Beating around the bush ain't like you. Don Quixote carefully began, almost whispering in a low voice. It is
공간에서
in the first class seats.
신발을 벗고
I have heard tell that we must boat with our feet, freed from our boots. Doth that claim hold water? Your boots are named Rocinante after the horse from the story, right? We heard this in Cake when we entered Cakehope. Rocinante, a fine steed. I love the way they characterize Rocinante in the book, because it's like Don Quixote is so proud of Rocinante. It's like, Rocinante, onward! But Rocinante is just the most unperturbed horse that doesn't move generally slower or faster for anyone, just moves at the same pace animal. It's just, so Don Quixote is just like, let's go, and it's just good book. Honestly, I think currently I rate Don Quixote up there. Among my favorite of these. Oh! I knew it! Okay, when I was putting together the poll that is in chat, I was feeling like I was forgetting one of the books. Do I redo the poll? I also haven't read Crime and Punishment. I was like, there's another one I haven't read. For some reason, I didn't remember. Okay, but anyways, Don Quixote's question to Virgil.
어디서 또 괴상망측한
Oh,
소문을.
come on. Now, where did this nonsense gossip come from this time?
소문이 아니오.
Tis no gossip.
지나가는 자들의 대화를
Forsooth, I have overheard aught from those we have walked past here today, and
1등석 타면 맨발로 타야 하는 거
when one of them inquired, you know that you gotta go barefoot in a first class, right? The other responded with, of course, man. What, am I stupid?
참말인가?
Doth the traveler speak truish, man?
왜 저한테 물어봐요?
Don't ask me. I've never been on one of these either.
홍보 책자에 그런 내용은 없었는데. 잠시만요.
I don't remember seeing anything like that on the pamphlet. Give me a sec. I mustn't be separated from Rocinante, not even for a twinkle. I shan't toss Rocinante to the side. Next to such vulgarities like the ugly shoes of Sir Heathcliff. Actually, I think I saw, because I used some like full assets directly from the game in making my thumbnails, and I think I saw Rocinante Don Quixote's shoes when I was using her sprite before, and I think that they do stand out as different from like others new shoes.
이게 진짜
Oh wait, you little!
불빛 시선께 부탁하네. 로신한테를 옆에 같이 태우면 안 되겠는?
I implore thee, O illustrious rad gaze, prithee grant me thy permission and allow me to board with Rocinante. I expected Virgilius to answer with his usual exasperated rebuff. Contrary to my expectations, however, he responded in a somewhat serious tone, if tainted by that familiar annoyance.
신발은 벗지 마.
Fine. Keep your shoes on. Okay. First node done. The node there in the fixer. Curious. Curious? Yeah, they're like some. Oh, they're like these bright colored sneakers, sort of. You know, the shoes. Which to me is kind of fits the rest of her get up with like all the badges and stuff. I just pulled up a picture. Yeah. This place is huge. That was my first impression of the rope train station. How big is the rope train to fit Mephistopheles? Oh yeah, Heathcliff, Don Quixote did in the Saltio shoes, just to, you know. Said that her shoes are better than yours. I'm not making it up. I'm just relaying. I'm not saying the same. Oh, so this is. Don Quixote shouted vibrantly, immediately recovered from her previous apprehension of the sheer possibility that she might be separated from Rocinante. So each nest has one of these massive structures in them.
나라고 알겠냐? 어이.
I've got nothing. Oh wait, know anything about what they're asking? Heathcliff asked, just steering toward Musso with his chin. Oh. I mean, to be fair, Musso isn't going to answer a question unless you address it to him. He is not the sort to go answering just any old question.
모든 워프 열차 승강장은 그 둥지의 특징과 걸맞는 조형과 건축으로 도시 내에서도 유명하다.
Every rope train station has been built with a general design philosophy that draws from its respective nests architectural idiosyncrasies. It can also be said that many critics in relevant fields praise the rope train stations as one of the many cultural cornerstones of the city. That's interesting. It's interesting that they even... It's almost interesting to me that they even have a concept of cultural cornerstones of the city, and that we've met almost... I mean, we had that bit on the outskirts, but besides that, almost everything is within the city. We don't have that many perspectives of outside the city or from outside the city. So the idea of cultural cornerstones of the city is kind of interesting when we don't have much of anything to compare it against within this world, if you know what I mean. I have no idea when it happened, but Heathcliff started treating Musso like a walking encyclopedia from time to time. I like it. It at least gets Musso involved. Musso! Jan Musso! Lo! Is that passenger over yonder one from the west?
아니다.
Incorrect. Leather-based clothing and matalaume are predominant fashion trends, often visible in the outfits of the Western population, while that individual's cloth-based style is something ubiquitously observed throughout the population of North and South. They are largely considered to be an Eastern fashion trend, rarely seen amongst Western. Prithee, slow thyself, for I must make a record of thy lecture. Don Quixote, you are telling someone else to slow down? Think about this a little, Don Quixote. What wisdom dost thou have to impart regarding the fashion of the northern region? I have once espied in a magazine that they are garbed in puffy, loose-fitting outfits, understandably so given the cold climate of the region.
그것은 바로 코앞에 있는 자를
An opportunity for a first-hand observation stands before you. Oh! 3 seconds of screaming duet, one of utter fascination, the other of unmitigated frustration. Picture from the north. What the shit? You nearly blew out my eardrums!
우리도 마찬가지였거든.
You want to talk? Dude, I've got an audible frequency range expansion implant in my eardrums. Holy shit, man! Now get the hell out of my way. You're blocking the walkway like a ragtag band of hicks who's never even seen a rope train before. I mean, you know. You're blocking the way, Aquay. It's not just like a ragtag band of hicks who never seen a rope train before. It is, to be fair, I've never been on a rope train before, but telling Don Quixote to think is like asking Drago to not have a bag arm ain't happening. I feel like Don Quixote thinks, just doesn't come to the normal conclusions that we do. Damn it, I take the train all the way here for an expedition, only to lose my target and now these assholes are trying to blow out my eardrums. Great. Just great, I love this.
진 않나? 처음 타보는 거?
Guys, is it that obvious that we've never been on a warp train before?
심지어 워프 열차 왕복권은 내 탑이었다고.
And the round-trip ticket fee came straight out of my damn pocket.
아이 조심해.
Whoa, watch out, big fella. Someone might get seriously hurt if you keep swinging those forearms around, each holding a weapon to boot.
혹시
Prithee, wilt thou stand still for but a moment to satisfy a few inquiries of mine regarding thy outfit? Oh, yes. Stand in absolute stillness for 5 seconds and... Seriously? The fixer with a particularly impressive set of prosthetic arms spent a few minutes venting several of his numerous grievances at us before storming off to a different platform.
역시 도시는 넓고 특이한 자들은
Indeed, 'tis grand, the city of sundry odd personalities.
저 사람도 똑같이 생각했을걸요.
I'm pretty sure he was thinking the same thing. I guess there really are a lot of people in the city with full body prosthetics. It's when Virgilius slowly walked up to our group.
그럼 도착해서 만나도록 하지.
Well then, we'll rendezvous at the destination.
붉은 시선께서는 함께 하시지 않은 것이요?
Will the illustrious Rod Gaze not ride alongside us? Nope, he's sending us to our deaths and he knows it, so he's not getting on the train. It's like, I'm going to walk there rather than get on this thing.
W4의 정책상 색을 부여받은 자는 별도로 마련된 열차를 사용해야 한다더군.
W Cope policy demands that fixers bestowed with a color title must board a train specially prepared for them instead. Is it so that you don't kill everyone on the train? Is that why?
1등석에도 1등석에 있는 거야?
Oh, are you like riding the first class plus or something?
어딜 가나 특색은 날개 차원에서 특별 대우를 해주나 보네요.
That's a color fixer for you, I guess. Special treatment from the winds, no matter where he goes.
카로는 돌아가고 싶어.
Karan wants to go back to Mafi. Mafi'll be lonely. I've told you before, Karan. 3 separate times, actually. Each time I bought you one of those candies, that people aren't allowed to aboard the freight cars. Well then, Miss Faust, where's Karan going to ride? Is Karan going to be... I don't feel like Karan's going to be separated from Virgil, but...
네.
It's a train just for him, though. Yes. Virgilius, after exchanging a knowing look and a nod with Faust, escorted the particularly peeved Karan away.
단테, 저희는 이쪽으로.
Dante, let us proceed this way. We followed Faust's guidance to the entrance of our train car. Damn.
색도 좀 돌아오는 걸?
Whoa, hey, our colors are starting to come back. Oh!
그리고 이게 말로만 듣던 웰컴 푸드.
Hey, these must be the fabled complimentary food and drink of the first class seats. Heck yeah, of course. Quality stuff like these gotta be included with that insane pricing. The general response to this room was a surprise at the rows upon rows of expensive looking sizable capsules. Flash freeze hibernation, huh? I guess it's literally freeze our bodies in a flash. Faust, are these flash freeze hibernation devices safe?
안전이라는 말씀.
Please elaborate on your exact definition of safe. Okay, Faust, that means no. That answer means no. If I ever ask you about if something's safe, and your response to me is, please elaborate on your exact definition of safe, I'm taking that as no. Not just on Limbus Company. If I ask you, is that thing IRL safe, and you say, please elaborate on your exact definition of safe, no, you could have just said no. These things are supposed to freeze a solid, right? Can we really come back from something like that?
일시적인 사망 상태에 이르는 것은 맞지만 세포가 손상될
A
수도 없이
flash freeze
동결하는
hibernation
것이니까요.
device will put you
일반적으로는
in a
문제
temporary
없습니다.
state of death caused by a rapid cellular cryopreservation process. However, the rapidity of the process prevents damage to your cells during the phase change. Therefore, in most normal cases, this will not cause any issues.
동결 시에 발생하는
Faust is aware
nervo의
that this model has fully resolved cell membrane breaching issues caused by cryogenic density change by the formation of sharp ice crystals from frozen water molecules. I missed about half of what you said, but your point is that it's safe, right?
적어도 파우스트가 알고 있는 선에서는 그렇습니다.
Yes. As far as
혹여
Faust
문제가
is aware.
있더라도
Even if an
결국
issue
도착지에는
were to
원점으로
arise
돌아오니
during the journey,
문제가 없는 것과
everyone
다르지
will be
않겠죠.
reverted to their original state at the start of the train trip upon arrival. The outcome will be no different from there having been no issue in the first place. Yeah, I totally trust this, yes.
야, 안전하다는 걸 저렇게 길게 말하는 거.
You've got some real talent in dragging out something so simple as, yeah, it's safe, to so many words. Seriously.
네. 파우스트는
Indeed,
모든
as
방면에서
Faust's
재주가
talents are not
있으니까요.
limited to a singular field. But Faust's talents do not extend to the field of sarcasm detection. Okay, but that still leaves a lot to be worried about. Just as I was wondering, however, I realized that there was something odd about the way she phrased the answer. As far as Faust is aware, are you saying that it could be wrong?
파우스트는 대체로 틀리지 않습니다.
As a general rule,
하지만
Faust
신도 아니죠.
does not err. However, Faust is also not a divine being. Sure,
파우스트가 아직 구하지 못한 정보도
there still exists in the world information to which Faust is yet to
사실을
have
말할 수
access.
있어도
Therefore,
진실과
while
넘어갈
Faust
수
may
있는
speak
것이죠.
the facts, what is said may not always align with the truth. Okay.
그래도 1등석이 좋긴 좋네.
They don't call a first class for nothing, I guess. Peacock's way up there in the northernmost corner of the city. But this thing'll take us there in the blink of an eye, huh? That's one hell of a time saver.
준비되었는가, 로시나 태우?
이제부터 길고 긴 야정이 시작되는 걸세.
Hoo ha, hoo ha, hoo. Prepare thyself, Rosinante. Thus begins the launch hunt.
그러고 보니까 돈키호테
Oh, I've been meaning to ask Don Quixote.
그 신발
Do you
빨간 거
ever,
거야?
you know, wash those shoes? I mean, admittedly, I have a picture of Don Quixote. It's full thing up over here, and yeah, the shoes do look pretty dirty. I will admit that they look nice, but yeah, they do seem dirty. Yeah, where did that come from, Radio?
아니 생각해보니까
No, I mean, like,
속에서 한참
think
갇혀
back
있었을
to
때
when we were inside that whale.
그 고래가 터지면서
When that whale
온갖
blew up, we got
찌꺼기들이 다
all
묻었었잖아.
kinds of
옷이랑
its
신발 할 데 없이.
gross, slimy bits on us. They were on our clothes, our shoes, everything.
그랬죠.
Yeah.
그래서 우리 그
And do you remember how much we had to scrub to get that bloody, fishy, flushy gunk out of our clothes?
별로 유쾌한 기억은 아니지만 그랬었죠.
This isn't really something I want to revisit, but yeah.
그때 돈키호테 혼자
Right? And do you also remember how Don Quixote never took his shoes off once during that whole ordeal? I guess she shan't be separated from Rocinante.
듣고 보니 좀 꼬질해 보이긴 하네요.
Okay, I guess they do look a bit filthy.
자네들
I ask thee, dear compatriots,
본 적이 있는가?
hast thou ever witnessed an errant knight who leaves the side of their beloved steed? Actually, this is quite interesting. Although, is this the first time she's referred to herself as a knight errant? She's always talking about fixers, and the book relates stuff about knight errants, but I feel like this is like the first time hearing a hero talk about knight errants and not fixers. Can't say I've ever witnessed a knight before, though.
그렇다면
Then thou shalt know! Stouting now, behold it, hearken to it, and remember it well.
단 한순간도 조용히 있는
They
법이 없.
don't spare us even a moment of quiet, do they?
와, 그런데 오티스 씨도 이런 곳에
Wowzer! Have you been on one of these before, Otis?
뭐 옛날에는
I have been treated to premium VIP seats of similar grandiosity back when. This is nothing to fuss over. Otis, who was sitting there and shaking her legs, suddenly asked Faust a question.
어이, 1등석에는 한 번도 사고가 난 적 없었던 거 확실하겠지?
Hey, you're confident that no accidents ever occurred on one of these first-class cars, yes? I mean, Otis, you of all people aren't expecting bumps. You're not expecting a bumpy ride on a very long journey, are you? You're not expecting any hiccups in a very lengthy journey, right?
여러분의 불안감 조성을 방지하기 위해
In order to prevent cases of unnecessary anxiety and misgivings among the sinners, the history of accidents that has occurred about rope trains will not be shared. Oh, fantastic.
그게 무슨...
Wait, what do you mean?
곧 출발하려나 본데요.
Oh, looks like the train is about to depart.
T사행 PW612 워프 열차 곧 탑승 수속을 마감합니다.
Where did I put this? There it is. This This is for rope train PW612 bound for Peacope. Boarding period is ending soon. The sinners were either leisurely enjoying their complimentary snacks or taking a look around the first class car suddenly became a lot busier.
그럼 너무 늦기 전에
Then let us
택시로
hurry
들어가도록 하죠.
and enter our capsules before it is too late. Oh no. Why isn't this? The other sinners made it into their capsules, no problem, but I felt like I was the only one who was fumbling.
긴장하셨나요, 단테?
Are you nervous, Dante? I think so.
워프 10분 전.
Initiating rope in 10 minutes.
제가 돕도록 하죠.
Allow me to assist you. Stand as though you are leaning back and... Faust expertly guided me into the capsule as though she'd done something like this before, then pressed the button inside the capsule that closed the hatch. Wait. That's Don Quixote. Is that Isan? That's Hanlu. I'm not sure who these two are. Oh. Little tough to tell. Okay.
너무 걱정하지 마세요.
Do not worry too much. We
금방
will
다시
meet
보게 될
again
겁니다.
in a better moment, Dante. I thought I heard a brief sigh, but the hatch shut tightly before I could ask her anything.
우리 열차는 이제 워프하겠습니다. 좌석 벨트가
Initiating rope. Please confirm that your seatbelts are firmly fastened. Last thing I saw before my capsule began to fill with gas was Faust climbing into her own capsule opposite of mine. Little did I know back then what she really meant by "we will meet again in but a moment." She means that their memories are going to be erased and they'll only they won't remember anything. It sounds like to me.
단테, 일어나야 합니다.
Dante, you must wake up, Dante. But one thing I knew for sure was
상정 외의 상황입니다.
an unexpected situation has occurred. That something had seriously gone wrong. Now, here's a question. Is something seriously going wrong normal on this train? Or is it unusual? We're here already? Wow, I guess that wasn't an exaggeration at all. It all really happened in the blink of an eye. No. As always, Faust was giving me her usual look, which was a complete lack of any emotive expression. Which I suppose is why it didn't immediately register that something had gone awry.
아니요, 도착하지 않았습니다.
No, we have not yet arrived at our destination. Huh? But once I finally came to and had some time to digest that odd reply, I looked up at her face once again and realized that her expression was more antsy than usual by a microscopically minuscule degree. So, this train is still running?
그렇습니다.
Yes. Then where are we? If believe we are currently stranded in an unidentified dimension. Coordinates unknown. I took a reflexive deep breath from the sheer horror of the numerous implications stuffed into that dryly delivered sentence. When that passed, the first thing that struck my mind was that we were about to suffer the very thing that we were so worried about. I see. But I soon found myself calming down. Yeah, this had to be part of Faust's plan. She probably saw this coming from a mile away. No, not if you can see an amount of antsiness in her expression. No, if she saw this coming, you wouldn't see anything in her expression. I'm sure she's about to proudly tell me every little detail of her plan that will help us out of this situation. But this is all just a part of the plan, right, Faust? That was an unusually long silence from Faust.
절반은 맞고
You are
절반은
half
틀립니다.
correct, yet half incorrect. With that, Faust left me to flounder in the chaotic stream of vaguely terrifying information. She began stopping by each capsule to wake the sinners. Okay.
벌써 도착한 거야? 야, 진짜 눈 감았다가 뜨면.
Oh, we're here already, man. It really happened in the blink of an eye.
아닙니다.
No.
뭐야? 진짜 도착한 거야?
Are we waking them in their chapter order? First Grago, then Radian? Oh, what's this? We're here already? For real? It really happened in the blink of an...
아닙니다.
No. We are waking them in their order.
생각보다 겁먹을 필요가 전혀 없.
This makes me wonder if Faust has known from the start the order that we're doing all of their stories and their cantos and... Whoa! We're here already? I guess I really was worrying over nothing. Except, of course, Faust.
아닙니다.
No.
아닙니다.
No. She's starting to get tired of answering the same question.
아직 아무 말도 안 했네만.
I have not uttered a single word yet. Yeah, I actually know that the order they introduced themselves in the prologue was also in Canto order, yes. There was a brief cheer, a little hurrah before, about regaining our colors, followed by a flat-toned explanation of our current predicament, which was then followed by a long, loaded silence, which was a sequence of events I had the pleasure of watching play out on about 10 consecutive occasions.
단테.
Dante,
혼란스럽겠지만
I
우선
understand your
지금의
confusion.
다시 한번
However,
설명해야만 할 것
perhaps an
같습니다.
elaboration of our present circumstance is necessary. And that brings us to the present.
아, 그러니까
Let me get this right.
지금 이 열차는
This
아직도
train's
운행 중이고
still running,
우리는 어딘지도 모를 저
and we're drifting through some unknown dimension.
그건 뭔가 멋있게 들리는군.
Oh, about that striketh me as quite dramatic.
제일 중요한 건 이 모든 상황이 벌어질 걸.
Most importantly,
당신은 처음부터
oh, you're saying that you already knew that this would happen on Faust.
그렇습니다.
Yes. You could have said something, but I suppose you purposefully didn't. What the hell is wrong with you, huh? The sinews each began to voice their anger. Of course, this wasn't the first time Faust and Virgilius intentionally and knowingly omitted certain details about what's to come.
이게 말이 된다고 생각해?
Oh, you're actually serious. It's not like we can just retreat. Oh, jump out that door when the stuff hits the fan.
문을 연다 하여도 수천내로 몸이
Opening the door will
산산조각
result in a new immediate destruction of the physical body.
그래도 파오.
Very nice, Muso. Very nice.
다 계획해 둔 거지? 그렇지?
Hey, Fao, at least tell us you know what to do like you always do. You've got a plan, right?
그렇지?
Right? Faust, whom I had rarely ever seen at a loss for words, was unusually slow to respond. Hey, being slow with telling the plan is part of the plan. It's necessary, I'm sure.
뭐야? 저 왜 저렇게 얼빠진 모습인데?
What's up with you? Ross looks totally out of it today. She gives me a sideways glance. There must be something she can't discuss in the front of the sinners. Guys, let's pause for a bit. She said that something unexpected's happened. The other sinner's anger was completely understandable. It also makes sense that this continued lack of communication was harming our trust in Faust. Alright, we're going to go over the situation from the start, okay? But just letting things play out might really turn everyone against Faust, and for good. Besides, I doubt Faust woke us up in the middle of the trip just to spite us. Yeah, that's not really like her. First things first, I gotta get the sinners to calm down. Then I'll ask Faust to tell us what happened. If there's a problem, we'll figure it out and deal with it as we move along. Tell us what's going on, Faust, all of it, and in a way that we can all understand. Let's hear her out first. Is that okay with you guys?
당신이 그렇게
If you
잘하셨다는
say so, I'll go along with it.
그래.
Fine, I suppose losing my rag really ever did anything.
감사합니다.
Thank you. Then, after some time, the gist of Faust's explanation was as follows. The cause of this issue, as always, involved a certain contract and a unilateral decision from the higher-ups of Limbus Company. W. Cope, having caught wind of Limbus Company's recent distortion contract management promotions. Oh! Is this actually a side job, or decided to contract us to deal with a mysterious repeated series of incidents suspected to have been caused by a distortion, after multiple failed attempts to resolve it on their own, of course.
뒤틀림 현상 자체는 문제가 없었을 겁니다.
Why
저희가 가진
weren't
정보와
we
일치한다면
told it
워프가
beforehand, though?
도착하는 대로 그 뒤틀림은 W4의 처치를 받아 승객으로 돌아갔을
The
테니까요.
distortions themselves likely did not pose a problem for W. Cope. Based on the available information, it can be determined that they would have all been neutralized as soon as the train arrived, and any transformed passengers would have reverted to their human forms. Huh. Interesting.
하지만
But the real issue is that the passengers were disappearing. Ah!
사라진다니?
Passengers! Spirited away! Alas, such as an is an impossibility about these trains, is it not?
그 부분을 포함하여 저희가 이유와
I'm
결과를
really
알아내야
curious. I
하겠죠.
feel like we've been dancing around what some of how W cope and rope trains work, but not quite stating the detail aloud, and I'm curious. That is the problem. Whose precise cause and effect we must determine. No passengers on a train disappearing. Never. Did W cope share anything to get us started?
그 점이
That appears
이번
to
후에도
be the
만든
most
가장 중요한 부분인
prominent
것
cause
같군요.
of this misunderstanding. Oh, that's fair. The lore is expanded in Dante's Notes and the Library of Verona. Yeah. She explained that W Corp refused to share anything about the trains because they were concerned about disclosing the secrets of the singularity. Ah. That's probably why they sat out an upstart business like Limbus Company to deal with this. Now that I think about it, we wouldn't even know where to start if we didn't have access to the information that the identity cards had to offer. Faust produced what appeared to be a key card with the W Cope logo on it before continuing with her explanations.
대신 이 동면 캡슐을
However,
언제든지 여닫을 수
we were
있는
given this
마스터
master
카드키를
key that
받았습니다.
can open and close the hibernation capsules at any time.
의뢰를 해결하면
We may
저희는
return to our
멜피스토플레이스에서
respective
이야기했던
capsules as soon
동면
as
캡슐로
the
돌아가
contract is fulfilled
안전하게 도착할
and
수
safely
있겠죠.
complete. The rest of the journey, as we had planned from the beginning. It still seems really weird that we didn't go over this stuff before boarding the rope train. I mean, part of our job at this point is dealing with distortions, but we didn't go over this.
날개라는 건 왜 하나같이 이 모양인 건지.
These bloody wings, every single one of them's been absolutely balmy.
중요한 단서는 전부 감추고 정답을 찾아오라고 하는
I
건
think it's
좀
a bit
불친절한 것 같네요.
unkind of them to ask us to finish the puzzle without all of the important pieces.
적어도 T사에서는 멋진 배지도 주고 대표님이 조수로 따라와서
At least
이것저것
T-Cope,
설명해
their
주셨는데
chief
말이에요.
executive director, tagged Lana as our assistant, not to mention kindly explaining so many new things to us. I feel like this is a rather Honolulu specific perspective. Actually, you know, this brings up something. This brings up something about the last Intervallo. I'm a little disappointed now that we didn't. There was a part where we faced the Eurodivia, and Hubert specifically went, I'll keep this fight fair by not joining in the fight. And now I'm really disappointed that we didn't get to see him fight. Like, could he have done some crazy stuff in a fight? Could he just, like, I don't know, use a bunch of T-Cope time stuff? He's definitely coming back. He's mentioned a few times later. Will we see him fight sometime? Will he just, like, go super fast, way faster than anyone else? I don't know. It sounds like Miss Faust was stuck between a rock and a hard place herself. Some listeners grew more receptive after her explanations, albeit with a sigh. I would have appreciated it if you at least gave us a hint.
맞아요. 이해가 아직
Yeah,
안 되는 건
I
아니지만
understand where you're coming from,
하나하나
but
감시당하고
it's
있는 건
not
아니잖아요?
like there's someone out there monitoring everything you say and do, right? Okay, now you're making me think there is someone monitoring everything that she says and does.
그건
That is...
어,
But not everyone was willing to let this go without saying their piece.
다음엔 참고하도록 하죠.
Next time, I will take your inputs into account. And that's just about all I can do for you. It's an undeniable fact that your actions have disappointed the sinners. This is Faust we're talking about, though I'm sure she has backup plans to get us out of this situation.
그래서 이제 우리가 어떤 일을 하면 되는 거지?
So what's next on our agenda?
그래, 뭐 일단 일은 벌어졌으니까 여기서 평생 썩어야 하는
Yeah,
상황이
what's done is done, right? Besides, it's not like we got to rot away for thousands of years inside this metal box. Don't you jinx it there?
관리자님과 잠시 상의해 보도록 하겠습니다.
That is something I must first discuss with Dante. Discuss? But discussing things with other people is very unlike Faust. Oh no, she discusses things with Virgil, Dante. Other than that, perhaps, what are we discussing, Faust? Faust just discusses things with Faust and Virgil. Actually, I feel like once or twice she had a discussion with Isan that was productive. What are we discussing, Faust?
목소리는 낮추는 게 좋을 것 같군요.
We
단테.
must converse in a lower volume, Dante. That's an interesting point. Can Dante control their volume? I don't actually know with the way things are. Why are we whispering? I guess so. Your secretive attitude only exacerbated my already battered sense of safety.
제젤샤프트.
My connection to
아니,
Gesellschaft,
파우스트가
I mean,
연결되지 않습니다.
Faust has been severed. I'm sorry, what? Okay, I for transparency, I have heard about this.
저는 파우스트의 정보를 열람할 수가 없는 상태입니다.
I cannot access Faust's knowledge at the moment, but I didn't know that this could happen. I have heard about this Gesellschaft thing. And just like that, the ominous feeling I had turned out to be right. But at least as far as I recall, this is the first time it's properly, this Gesellschaft is properly being mentioned in the story. This is actually great, getting this W Cup L3 cleanup agent, because I have this charge team that I've been working on. I don't know when I'll get the staff to actually level her up and uptime her and stuff, but I have been working on this charge team. It's not ready to use but I've been working on it. I'm thinking, what team do we use? Do we try? Let's try something. Let's actually first off just let's change this team. It's currently tagged. Oh, what? Oh, this is new. They added these. Oh, that's fantastic. When I named this team way back, I named it Bleed Story, but it's really my Rena team. Now I can just name it the Rena. Oh, fantastic. I can name this the Middle. Do not do Bleed. Okay, we want to Bleed. Then this is the Middle. Oh wait, I don't need Envy as well. Do we have a House of Spiders one? House of Spiders! And we don't need the others. It doesn't fit. Can we actually throw on this is my Byrne team. Should I have Byrne and Byrne Tham on this? Maybe. And oh, this is sweet. I am so happy they've added it might be minor, but I like it. Okay, let's only level 13. I don't have any more level up materials either, besides obviously my level 60 boost ticket, which I'm not using. But maybe. Oh wait, no, right, not Bleed. And if we're not doing Bleed, I think the main thing I have to do is my Byrne team, because actually Reen and Middle both do Bleed. Oh, House of Spiders, I could. Let's do Byrne. I have been toying around with my Lobotomy Ego Hornet alteration a little. I do need to apply him again, though.
준비는 항상 되어 있습니다.
함께하죠.
자유로워질 수 없어. 이
소재가. 네, 그럼요.
반드시 팬다. 아비들도 건.
What do you mean you can't?
말 그대로입니다. 평상시에 얻을 수 있던
I mean it in the most literal sense.
아무것도 얻을 수
Also, to be clear, I'm not sure if the team I just put together is the best one I could put together right away. I think it would actually probably be better if I'm not certain, but I feel like it would have been better to not include Hornet and to instead and just put in Magic Bullet. But I wanted to actually play a little with Hornet. But I don't know. Yeah, we can play around. I mean it in the most literal sense. My access to Faust's input and information, which has always been readily available, is completely severed. Oh, what if everything about this situation is something you don't have access to yet, like you said last time?
가능성을 배제할 수는 없지만 그것에 대한
One cannot completely dismiss that possibility, but even that is uncertain. Faust's answers have always been perfectly accurate and methodical when sharing information. I don't think she's ever said a sentence that was this full of speculation and doubt. Then, Faust, right now, yo. Yes, at this moment,
제가 갖고
I
있는
am
지식만을
limited
활용하고
to
있습니다.
utilizing only the knowledge that is in my possession.
원인은 알 수 없습니다.
I cannot discern
상황과
the
이동에 의한
cause
문제
of
대비는 충분했을
this
테지만
disconnection
아마
more than
파우스트는 이런
enough
예측 불가능한 차원과의
precautions
연결까지
have likely been
상정하지
taken in the
않았던
case of interdimensional travel, but
상정했다는
perhaps
아직
Faust
교차
did
관측을
not
하지
take into
못했을지.
account an occasion which we may have to access an unidentified dimension such as this. Oh, even if it was taken into account, this particular dimension may not have been subject to cross-observation yet. Interesting.
그것도 아니라면
Is there a W cope, Faust?
아닙니다.
I'm looking. I'm curious. Fausts. Fausts. There is a W cope, Faust. Okay. If that is not the case, then no, never mind.
탑승 직전까지만
There
해도
was nothing that suggested that
파우스트의
my
연결이
connection
끊기게
to
된다는
Faust would
경고는
be lost.
없었습니다.
Not even as we
솔직하게
boarded
말해.
the train, to be honest.
부분적인 당혹감을
I find
느끼고 있는
myself in a
상태입니다.
somewhat perplexed state. Alright, I get it for now. Now that changes everything. I recalled the last thing I saw before the hatch on the capsule closed when Faust told me not to worry too much. Okay, this is just a minor setback. Nothing we can't beat, right? We got this. I began to mutter like I was trying to convince myself. As the manager, my job is to calm everyone down and set their sights on the future, just as Faust did for me immediately before the hatch closed. If you're right about why you were disconnected, then that problem will solve itself once we're off the train. And if we do ever run out of options, I'll just turn the clock and see what happens. Don't stress yourself too much. We still have a lot to work with. Your knowledge, my clock, the sinners, and I could feel my confidence taking a hit with every word that came out of my metaphorical mouth, but that seemed to be enough for Faust. She nodded.
네, 알겠습니다.
Understood.
그리고 수감자들에게는
And to the sinners,
운행 중인 워프 열차에
the
있다는
fact that we
것만으로도
are currently confined to a warp train in operation must be a source of enough stress.
공유하지 않는 편이 좋을
It would be
듯합니다.
best not to share Faust's current state with them and add an unnecessary source of tension.
뭐야? 그럼 이 열차문을 부숴도 다 뒤진다는
What?
거야?
So rocking this door ain't gonna do anything? We're all going to fight it once it opens?
그러니까
How many times do I have to tell you that you're not even strong enough to break this door down? A billion years in this box. That might be fast. So,
어떻게 하면 돼?
what now? Do we take a searching sweep through each cow or something?
큰 틀에서는 맞다고 할
In
수
the
있겠네요.
grand scheme of things, yes. Faust clued there with a cap before continuing.
이 열차는 운행을
By a
시작한 후
Cope's standard
의사
time
표준
scale,
시간을 기준으로
approximately
3일 정도
3
지난
days
상태입니다.
have passed since our departure. Does the same amount of time pass outside of the warp train?
저는 림버스
As
컴퍼니와
per the contract
W사의 계약
between
내용대로
Limbus Company,
캡슐의
the
비치된
company and
마스터 카드키를
W Cope,
획득하고
I acquired
3일
the
뒤에
master
자동으로
keycard
열리게끔
placed
설정했죠.
inside my capsule and adjusted the hatch settings to open automatically in 3 days.
3일.
3 days, huh?
눈을 감았다가 떴을
I
것
feel like I
같았는데.
just blinked and
우연이라는
I
건
guessed
이런
it's
느낌인가 봐요.
hibernation for you.
이미 알려진 대로 일반석 칸에서 1등석 칸으로 들어올 수 있는
As
방법이
you were
없기
all
때문에
informed prior
이곳은
to
아무런 변화가
boarding,
없지만
there is no way for the economy class passengers to enter the first class car. This is why the place has remained untouched. The same amount of time does not. Only 10 seconds pass outside. Interesting.
제 추측과 W 사이 부실한 설명을
That's
합쳐보면
why they're in another dimension, I suppose.
문제의 상황이 진행 중일 것이라고 생각됩니다.
Time is collected and repackaged by Teacope. However, cross-referencing my own deductions and W-Cope rather fragmentary explanations, I can assume that the situation is currently under progress in the economy class cows.
그 뭐야?
Yeah, the bout where they thrash the shite out of one another, tearing their limbs up and all that mess.
아니요, 아니겠죠.
No, I doubt that. I don't think it gets that bad in just 3 days. Besides, that's supposed to be business as usual for W-Cope, right? There must be something else that out of the ordinary that they want us to deal with.
정확합니다. 제가 생각하기에는
Precisely.
아마
And in my opinion, it is. These rope trains just sound horrible. Oh! Hold that for but a moment! Just as Faust was about to continue, Don Quixote raised her index finger to her lips and signaled her to be quiet. Dost thou hear at as I do? Scratching, nay, rapping, forsooth, past that gate must be. As Don Quixote kept listening with her ear to the door, an odd expression of half curiosity, half horror appeared on her face. It is possible that there must be... Lady Faust? After that very distressful noise, everyone simultaneously turned their heads to look at Faust, who closed her eyes briefly in thought.
잠시 비켜나시죠, 동 킬테.
Please, step aside for a
직접
moment,
보고
Don
대응하는
Quixote.
편이 나을 것 같습니다.
It would be best if I observed it with my own eyes. With that, she produced the master key card from her pocket and approached the panel installed next to the door.
뭐야? 잠깐.
Whoa, hang on a minute! You're going to open the door?
히스클리프 씨의 평소 조언을
I intend to
한번
follow
따라보려고 합니다.
your usual flavor of suggestion, Heathcliff.
고민하기보다
That there are
직접
times in
몸으로
which
부딪히는
a
편이
physical
때로는 더 나을 수도 있다는
altercation
거예요.
is preferable to detached ruminations. My suggestion? Well, I ain't gonna disagree with you there, but what's getting into your lass?
어차피 저도 직접
After
보지
all,
않으면
how could I
아무것도
deduce
추론해낼 수 없을 테니까요.
anything without seeing it myself? Leap? Huh? Oh, the key card. Yeah. After a brief mechanical beep, hideous creatures suddenly crashed through the door, and through the open door, and charged wildly in our direction. Now the question is whether these the creatures are real normal W-Cope stuff, or if they're distortion stuff. Craving a blood bag passenger. I'm going to guess that it's a regular W-Cope thing, but that's hard to tell. No, yeah, it's a good reason to bleed. Yeah, these things like bleed.
이 궤적을 보고 떠올리게.
나비가 날개짓하듯.
낙인을 새겨드리죠.
심장을 노려!
대상 확인, 절침탄, 트랜지션, 확산탄, 임상시험 성공.
I really need to hone it again. It looks like he gets a significant buff from his Aptypho.
정신력 회복을 위한 직원을 찾으셨다면 다른 직원을
타올라라.
칼날 사출.
망설이면 나갈 수 없어.
실력은 잘 이해하지 못하겠.
This isn't normal.
되져야지. 심장을 노려!
Interesting. It's tough for me to say because like it sounds like horrible stuff regularly happens on the train.
군락의 방어를 목표.
Actually, interestingly enough, the message we heard on the intercom earlier specifically specifies a train designation, which to me implies that there are multiple W cope trains, which begs the question, are people only disappearing on this train, or are they disappearing on all of the train? And if they're disappearing, just more than one train, and if they're disappearing on more than one train, is it possible for us to fix the issue for multiple trains on just one of the trains? Lady Faust, however... Nope, this is a character speaking. Lady Faust! However similar in appearance they may have been to the passengers, verily 'tis as though, they were in a complete want of sense.
마치 그 고래에 의해 백화된 것처럼.
Like people solidified by the whale. Don Quixote, who hesitated until the last second to raise her weapon against them, and who had, mournfully, normally, Faust would have told her more information about those monsters before the fight began, and she would not have been burdened by the sheer thought of bringing harm to the innocent. Faust began searching the area, closely observing various bodies and the general area for information.
오늘따라 주의를 많이
You appear particularly inquisitive today, Miss Faust. Can't hide stuff from me, son.
그러게요.
Huh.
평소 같은
Yeah. Aren't you usually the one who has all the answers while we're racking our brains trying to come up with something? The sinners were starting to realize that there was something off about Faust's behavior. They might even soon realize that there's something wrong with Faust.
Don Quixote,
Don Quixote,
이들은 죽지 않았습니다.
they are not dead.
자세히 보시죠.
Observe closer.
파편과 파편
The
사이에
parts are all tethered to one another by something, are they not? Oh!
이 공간은
It appears that the flow of time
멈춰 있는 것으로
has ceased
보입니다.
in this space.
그러니
Therefore,
죽음의
it
계란이
follows that the connections that tether bodies to life and away from death remain intact. To my relief, Faust managed to correctly figure out what's going on, like your usual self, even if it took slightly longer than it usually does. Hey, what did I say? We got this.
뭐라고
Huh?
했어?
What was that about? Oh, nothing. But I'd forgotten that not all the sinners were content with nodding along to whatever information Faust told us.
시간이
The
멈춘
flow of time is ceased aboard the rope train, is it? Isan grew pensive, seeing that Faust's lips pouted for a moment before closing shut. Fuck, what did I miss? We packed some blood bags. And... what else? Anything else? I'm not sure what else. I'm not sure what else you missed. We've been doing a lot of talking. I was starting to get a good read on her expressions. That she was an unmistakable... that was an unmistakable look of regret, however short-lived.
이 차원 바깥에서 바라볼 때는 멈추었다고
Albeit,
느낄 정도로
would it not be more accurate? And Faust disconnected.
그렇게 볼 수 있지 않겠는가?
Albeit, would it not be more accurate to muse that the flow of time has decelerated to the point where to an extra-dimensional observer it has been slowed to a stop? What is your perspective regarding this suggestion?
네,
Yes,
이상 씨의 의견이 합리적이겠네요.
that is the most rational suggestion, Isan.
파우스트 씨가 틀린 적도 있으셨나요?
Did Miss Faust just get something wrong? Wow, Isan, she is the expert when it comes to time-related phenomenon. Can you summarize it in easier language now that we're broaching the subject?
그래도 되겠는가?
Gladly, if you would allow me. Isan began to elaborate with gentle enthusiasm. Dante, your efforts are valiant, I'll say. I think they are at this point in vain, and it would be best to come clean. But good effort, Dante. That was close.
간단히 풀어 말하면
To speak in brevity, it can be said that death is not an element about this train.
너무 생략한 것 같은데.
And can you maybe speak in a little less brevity? To elaborate.
정말
Really, this one's how to beat still. Don Quixote lowered her head and listened closely to what appeared to be a dismembered torso, and shouts with relief, "Is that a good thing?" Dismembered torso's heart is still beating? There's something gruesome about that.
이들은 퍼즐 조각이 여러 개로 나뉜
Their
것처럼
state is akin to an
활동할 수 없는
unassembled
상태로
jigsaw
나눠
puzzle,
굴릴 뿐이야.
merely immobilized and separated.
몸이 분리된다는 과정은
Though their
진행되었지만
corpus has been
이 영상의
sundered,
존재는
the concept of
보존되고
death is at a
한없이
stake.
이해되므로
For all intents and purposes, eternal delay aboard this train, existence in continuance of moratorium. It's kind of horrifying. It is kind of horrifying. You suspend these people from dying so they can be just ripped apart into a bunch of pieces so that you can put them back together when we get to our destination.
그저
Post, they are to be tethered upon the thinnest yet tenacious thread of life.
어려운 말은 잘 모르겠지만
I ill understand what hath been said here, yet they are not dead at the same time. All the same,
이들의 파편이 연결되어 있다는
If
것은
their severed,
아무리 뒤섞여
if
있어도
their severed parts are
결국
all
파편들의
connected,
실타래를 따라
then it
모아보면
can be said that no matter how entangled their bodies become, It is not impossible to eventually gather their parts together to form a single passenger. I don't like it. I don't like it. Also, it reminds me of, if anyone here has ever seen much Star Trek. I've seen a fair amount of Star Trek, and in Star Trek they have the transporters, and the transporters and it work by taking a person apart particle by particle and then reassembling them at their destination, which actually reminds me a little of this. And actually both situations ran into the same issue of the question potentially, are you the same person you were when you left? Are you a new person with your name? It's kind of like the, what is it? Is it the ship of Theseus paradox, or is it something? That is something proposed in Rune, actually. I'm not the first to bring it up. The ship of Theseus, yes, yeah. Okay.
자연스럽게
Thus, naturally, we can determine how and why the profession W Cope cleanup agent has come to be. Oh, yes. And my other monitor over here, I see the W Cope L2 cleanup agent Faust. So, yeah. I see. Because someone will have to categorize and reconstruct these puzzle pieces once the journey is over. It's really baffling to me that a job like that even exists. I've ever seen a wing that wasn't baffling in every sense of the word. No, I don't think so. Still, I guess that means that as long as the train arrives at the station, the passengers will all be put together like nothing happened. From what I learned through the W Cope identities, their main job was to gather chunks of flesh together to bring them back to their original shapes before they boarded the trains. Horrible. It's a lot more visceral when I have to look at it in person. That is quite the auspicious news. A man ill tidings indeed. It soon clicked in me what Faust was, though with some awkward effort, trying to do, as I watched Don Quixote sigh with relief. Maybe Faust was trying to cheer Don Quixote up in her own way. Who she was a while ago would not find it necessary to do something like that. Oh, W. Cope's backstreets have some history of cannibalism after all. That's interesting. Creepy. Alice. Wow. Tante. Huh? Oh, what's up? Oh, time to respirate.
네, 정보를 수집
Indeed,
중입니다.
I intend to collect further intelligence. Well, if there's anything I can tell you. Faust cast a dark gaze towards the chunks of flesh. Her gaze remained fixed upon them as she whispered.
이들이 뒤틀림인지
Are they
혹은
distortions?
환상치인지
Oh,
아시겠나요?
abnormalities? she wouldn't normally have to ask. Oh, yeah, I actually wanted to ask you about that. They weren't humans. That was for sure. For them, I felt the same sensation I felt from a monsters. Something inexplicable, an unclear sensation or an aura. I felt this somewhere before, I'm sure of it, but I couldn't pinpoint the source of this sensation. That reminds me sort of when we were dealing with the Christmas elves. They're... One thing I do know for sure is that this sensation was not the same feeling I got from abnormalities, distortions, or even the Pacatula. And wasn't it kind of like that with the Christmas creature, where they weren't abnormalities, distortions, or Pacatula, but they weren't human either. They were monsters. If I had to lean one way or the other, I'd say they're closer to distortions. I'm sorry, I don't think they're either of those.
확신할 수 없는 건가요?
It's difficult to be certain at the moment. Again, I'm not sure how I can explain it, but they're very, very similar to distortions, but also different. If you had to ask, then I'm gonna guess Faust doesn't know.
파우스트라면 알고 있을 수도
Faust may
있겠지만
know, but I,
적어도 지금의
at
참은
this moment, have no way of knowing. I feel like I should apologize for that.
그러실 필요는 없습니다.
There is no
단테.
need, Dante.
불확실한 정보지만 그 덕에
Though the
한 가지
information you
추론에
have
도달할 수
provided
있었기
me
때문에
is rather ambiguous. It has helped me deduce something of worth.
그리고
And
직접 정보를 수집하며
collecting
눈에서
intelligence
결론을
myself and creating
예상보다
deductions based on sparse information is quite... She passed holding a bloody, slimy chunk of flesh in her hands. Did she just smile to herself with dough in her hands? Managed to get past the 20k damage barrier with Hemakonova. I just had to use her. Oh, nice. I'm still actually... I need to build my Remembrance Trailblazer a little more. Get better relics and such.
드디어 각성한 것인가?
Finally, the awakening has begun. Yes, Rio Shushu.
순조롭게 끝났군요. 꽤 고생할 것이라고 생각했습니다만 여러분들이 파우스트가 생각했던 것보다 유능했던 덕도 있겠군요. 츠바이의 책도 이번에 회수하도록 할까요?
Multi-crack office. Oh wait, that's interesting. We have multi-crack office identities. What? And they were added during this, at least this one I'm looking at here, was added Clearwell Cathy, Murder on the Rope Express, Season 4. After a round of intelligence gathering from Faust, we opened the door to the next cabin only to be greeted by a loud commotion.
저희 외에도 생존자들이 있는 모양이네요.
Sounds like There are other survivors. Oh, look at bloody handprints and...
위험에 빠진 승객
Ah, passengers in danger! Fret not, for I have arrived! Ah!
함부로 들어오지 마. 너희 뭔데?
Huh? Who? Whoa, whoa, don't come any closer! Who the hell are you guys? A four-armed woman suddenly jumped in our path. Is this... We were just dealing with a four-armed fixer, right? And the trainer platform. But they were disembarking and not embarking, right?
갑작스럽게 튀어나오는군요.
She appeared without warning. Faust stumbled a little, inadvertently slapped by the figure's swinging arms as she pushed us away.
내 쪽에서도 당신들이 갑자기 튀어나온 거거든.
Right, like you gave me any warning before you practically kicked that door open.
좀 위협적이니까.
Would you mind moving that huge sword out of our faces? It's a bit threatening.
위협은 무슨 위협?
Threatening? I'm just trying to protect the civilians in this car.
뭐야?
Also, is that a bioprosthetic? Must be an old timer, huh? I thought those things went out of style forever ago.
구시계 때론 제일 빛을.
Oh, you wanna see what this old timer's got left in him?
복식을 보아하니
So, out from the north, really? I gab is that of the northerners, no?
아이, 이 와중에 무슨 오타령이야?
This really ain't the time, lass. Anyways, it looks like we're in the same mess here.
사고에 휘말린 상태가
Make way for us, yeah? She seemed to be sizing us up for a moment.
너희를 뭘 믿고 이 안으로 보내줘?
Nah.
안 물렸다는 증거
How
있어?
do I trust
내가
you?
이곳을 어떻게 지키고 있었는데?
Got any proof that you ain't bitten? I'm not gonna let all my effort protecting this place go to waste.
물렸다니 뭔 소리야?
Bitten? The bloody hell are you on about?
왜 아무것도 모른다는 표정이지?
Bitten?
일반실에 있었으면 분명
Weird, you look completely lost. If you own one of the economy cars, I'm sure you've seen.
잠깐.
Hold on.
너희
Are you from the first class car?
네.
Yeah, we just woke up from our capsules.
보기에는
But none of you look very... I mean, aren't first class supposed to be... Well, why didn't you say so from the
내
get-go?
이름은 사샤. 멀티그룹
Name's
사샤.
Sasha, multi-crack office rep. With that, she lowered her weapons and allowed us to pass.
사샤, 당신도 이 객실에
Have you not
계속
left this
계셨던
car
건가요?
for the duration of the ride, Sasha?
뭐 그렇지.
No, I haven't.
우리 해결사
We
사무소에
walked over
회사
to
쪽으로
Teacup
일하다
after
들어갔다
picking
넘어왔는데
up one of their contracts.
회사가 일단 식으로
But,
고장난 데다.
jeez, can you believe that this train broke down? Shit, is it even broken? Don't let Cromer see you, Sasha. Ooh, no. No. Seems like a bad idea.
배고파지지도 않고 졸리다는 느낌도
I'm not
잘
feeling hungry or sleepy at all. It stinks of some shady bullshit, if you ask me.
의체인데도
You can't
느껴지셨나요?
feel all that, even in... You can feel all that, even in a prosthetic body?
아, 먹고 자는 게 취미라. 그쪽은 특별히 신경 쓴 부품이거든.
Man, how could I live without my favorite hobby drifting into a sweet nap after a pleasant meal? So I made sure to get high quality parts for him, so I can still feel him all.
그것보다 그 밖에도 일어난 일이 있지 않나요?
Hasn't something else of note also occurred?
아 그래. 완전히 난리도 아니었다고.
You bet your ass! Did something else of note go down?
정신 사납군. 촐싹대지 않고 말할 수는 없나?
How distracting is it? Is it hard for you to speak without being so hyper?
팔이라도 덜 휘적거리면
Or at least stop swinging your arms around like all of that.
그건 좀.
Can't do that, friend. I broke all my prosthetic arms in a fight. So I'm calibrating a new set. Gotta keep swinging them if I want to sync up with the other parts ASAP. You know, that's fair. That is.
아무튼 뭔 일인지는 모르겠는데 갑자기 열차에 탄 승객들이 이 사람 저 사람
Anywho, I don't know what the hell's going on, but people started tuning into some weird monsters all of a sudden.
정체도 모르겠고 말도 안 통한다고.
Haven't a goddamn clue as to who they are. Don't seem like they can understand us either.
다행히 나랑 저 사람들이 타 있던
Good thing my train cow didn't have a lot of those monsters. I just chopped what monsters there were to pieces and hauled the civilians to this vacant car.
빨간색이 3,200 하나, 빨간색이 3,200 둘.
3,201 rad colors. 3,202 rad colors.
저 승객들이 변해버릴 수도 있는데도
You have
불구하고
decided to protect
보호할
them,
생각을 하셨군요.
despite the potential risk that they may transform as well.
그거야 당연한 행동이지.
But of course, 'tis an expected duty of any valorous fixer to stand guard in the front lines against evil, to protect the weak.
나는 이미 승객들을 사흘 동안 지켜봤어. 그리고 지금껏 한 명도 변하지
I've been keeping a close eye on them for the last 3 days, and so far, 0 transformations.
지금 이 객실
Go past this cow and you'll see what hell on earth really means. Those monsters are constantly trying to claw their way to the front of the train. So if you ask me, I'd wager that some shit went down there at one of the train cows in the back, and it spread like wildfire till it reached here.
그렇군요.
I see.
내 이야기는 여기까지.
And that's all I can tell you about the situation. So, what's your story? Why do your rich first-class folks suddenly decide to grace us peasants with your presence?
여기서 뭔 일이 벌어진다.
Nothing that's happening here could have made it to your swanky first-class cows. So what's your business down here?
저희는 W4에서 이번 사건을
W Cope
해결하기 위해
has
고용한
hired us to solve this case. We are
해결사.
fixers.
네,
Indeed,
해결사입니다.
fixers. Faust nodded reluctantly as she affirmed Don Quixote's boisterous declaration.
그 인원을 전부 1등석에?
Huh? They got every single one of your first-class ticket. Your office must be rolling in the dough.
아니지, 잠깐.
Wait a goddamn second. So W Cope already knew that this would happen? But,
날개의 의뢰를 받은
are
거
you
맞아?
really contracted to a ring? Not sure if I trust you.
이미 잘 아시겠지만
As you must be well aware yourself, contracts and contract fulfillment are of paramount importance to fixers. The funny thing is, it's like, wait, WKO already. It's like, yes, what would what would one of the copes really care that much? It's like, okay, so if we keep a business running, a few people may die. Okay. It's like, what? Since when would one of the Weens, one of the Copes, really actually care that much about a few extra people dying if it meant running their business a little longer? As you must be well aware yourself, contracts and contract fulfillment are of paramount importance for fixers.
그리고 W사는
With that in mind, please recall that W Cope is one of the most secretive wings of the city. Really? And so far, all of the wings seem quite secretive, and W Cope is one of the most.
비밀 유지 서약을 했나 보군.
Non-disclosure agreement. Makes sense. I wouldn't want to deal with those Ophi boys either. Anyways, I'm still gonna have to ask for proof that you're actually contracted by W Cope.
W사에서 사전에 받은
This is the master keycode given to us by W Cope. I believe that it can open most doors about this train. Faust produced a master keycode from her packet. I guess there isn't any other way for us to prove that we're actually contracted by W Cope. A keycode? So you used this to open the path between the first class and economy class car. Let's see. W Cope logo. Oh, nice materials. Looks like you're telling the truth. Alright, I won't pry. Not like there's any cash in it for me either. So I guess you got to go all the way down there for your job, huh?
그렇죠.
Yes. The fixer finally got out of our way. Then, with one of her free hands pointed toward the opposite door. Well, it's your funeral, ladies and gents. Oh, your victory lap. If you guys are really that good, let's luck to y'all. I thank thee for thy words of courage. Fix you, Sasha. I shall trust thee with protection of this fortress. Prithee, protect the innocents in my stead. Don't question it, Sasha. Fixes? Are you a fixer? Are you going to save us from the monsters and the cows behind us? No. Oh! Just as we were about to reach the other end of the cow, little passenger pulled on Don Quixote's coattails. Aye, forsooth! Oh, are you a famous fixer? Forsooth, once again thou mayst know me as a profoundly illustrious fixer, the great knight errant Don Quixote. Oh, I wanna be a fixer too, just like you. Don't pester the lady. I'm sorry. She's my daughter and... Worry thyself not. 'Tis no bother at all. Thou must dream of becoming a fixer thyself, little squire.
당신 같은 자가
It is fortunate that someone like yourself is aboard the train. Your presence ensured the child's survival. What you talking about all of a sudden? Come on, no need to keep up appearances between people in the same line of work. I'm just here to collect some sweet emergency contract fees from each and every one of them. Are you two on something or what?
그렇군요.
I see. I don't think Don Quixote needs to hear what she just said.
파우스트 씨,
다시 봤어요.
Didn't know you could be like that, Faust.
무엇을 말씀이시죠?
Be like what?
일부러 그런 거였죠? 저자가 순수한 마음으로
You knew
승객들을 보호할
you
마음이
knew there was
없었다는
no
거
way the
알면서도
fixer was actually there to protect them out of pure goodwill. But you decided to go along with Don Quixote's delusions anyway. Am I right?
또다시 시끄러워지면
Good
골치
move.
아프겠다 싶었는데
I was getting worried about what might happen if she started acting out again.
보셨어요?
You saw the twinkle in her eyes too, right?
평소에도
Don
그랬지만
Quixote's always
오늘따라
been
얼굴이
energetic,
완전히 멍청해
but she's been especially bouncy today.
눈,
Eyes. Faust strode toward Sasha with a question.
마지막으로 하나. 궁금한 것이 있습니다.
I have one last thing to inquire.
질문 하나당 30만 원.
It'll be 30k on per inquiry.
같은 바닥 처지끼리.
That is quite an unsound decision to make for someone who claims to be in the same line of work as us.
저희 쪽 의뢰가 성공하고
Have you
나면
considered the possibility that once our contract is successfully complete,
제보해 드릴 수도 있을
we
텐데.
could include references to a particularly cooperative associate office in our reports to W Cope?
뭐야?
Whoa, you serious?
무슨 질문이야?
Well then, let me hear it.
혹시 상대하셨던
Were the eyes
괴물들의
of the
눈빛이
monsters you faced
모두 붉지는 않다고요.
red by any chance? Sasha paused her swinging arms for a moment upon hearing that question, appearing to either be in a thought or trying to recall something, then answered, I don't know, those monsters were red all over. But is there something special about the eye color?
일단 내 의안도 빨간색이고 저 승객도
Weird
눈이
question to a red-eyed woman. Yeah, but red eyes makes me specifically think about Virgil, but I don't know. Well, for one, my prosthetic eye is red. That passenger over there's got red eyes, and oh, you there, that lady with the big swords also got red eyes. Oh, that's also true. What, is someone out there paying cash for info on red eyes or something? Should his eyes are connected to this event.
아니요.
Interesting. No, well,
별것 아니었습니다.
it was a question of no significance. Faust nodded lightly in her direction and then opened the door to the next cow. It was just as we had feared. The scene... Whoa. The scene that appeared before us looked like it came straight out of a painting of Hal. Hey! A painting of Hal? Ryoshu, it's your turn. Your turn. It's a painting from Hal. This is right up your alley, right? Ryoshu? A Hal... you could even say a Hal screen. Okay, same team. Yeah, we'll just do the same team. Average level. A lot of them are level 45. You think it's just largely been dragged down by the level foe. It's fine, it's fine.
동부 싱크 3과 홍루입니다.
although these guys, I shouldn't inflict a bleed on these guys, right? From their abilities, I will say my arena team would feel right at home, man, in this environment. They'd like it. They'd appreciate this environment.
칼날 사출.
새벽녘.
심장을 노려.
W. Coprio, she was stuck teaching newbies when she wants to admire out on the train.
나비가 날개짓하듯.
심장을 노려.
설령 노간이라 추락하더라도 괜찮으니 이 노을이 식지 않도록 더 뜨겁게.
Can I check? No. But, nothing as far as Coach Field goes.
여명의 빛과 같이
망설이면 나갈 수 없어.
이렇게들 후회해서야.
망설이면 나갈 수 없어. 확실한 승리였어요. 돌아가면
41% of the damage, Sinclair! Ah, wait. No.
준비는 항상 되어 있어.
함께하죠.
소재. 네, 그럼요.
Ah, whoops. Ah, what happened?
이 거미줄을 끊어내지 않고
Recommended level for. Ooh. Should I actually.
의뢰.
준비들 다 됐나?
저희 사무소 단독 의뢰.
전투에
날 뭘로 보고? 야,
준비는 항상 되어 있어.
자유로워질 수 없어. 이 거미줄을 끊어내지 않고서는. 함께하죠.
Let's go here.
네, 그럼요. 맡겨주세요.
이거 참 설레는구려.
Okay. Something I was considering actually. Maybe I should use a support a Liu association Isan. I really want to get a Liu association in Isan or something. But well actually I need to check its support passive. Because that's what I'd be using for. Well, could actually use him on the team proper. So.
심장을 노려. 자신 있으면 받아봐.
낙인을 새겨들만 하지 말고.
나머지는 제가.
심장! 심장을 노려!
태어날 봐.
설령 녹아내려.
Oh, how many enemies? Wave 1 out of 1, but enemy 3 out of 11. Oh, we might actually get to hit them with some of our powerful abilities in that case. What's your sanity at? Not high enough. Dawn Splitter, here we go. And what are we at for 28? Okay.
여전히 무섭고 곤필해. 그럼에도
선수는 안 통할 거다.
멈추고 싶지 않아.
심장! 심장을 노려!
새벽녘.
제가 계속 나눴습니다.
역시 우리 사무소의 자랑이야. 전에
Battles are going to get a lot longer going forward, which is nice for using flashy stuff. Nice! That makes me happy because my so far just like my favorite sinews in this game, my favorite identities in this game are often the ones that are the ones that like have some like build up in their kit, where they build up to their damage and to like a big ability. Like I've said it before, where Arena Hanalu is one of, if not possibly my favorite identity. What's her sanity at? Not high enough. And then also the news fathers in general have these build-ups in their kits. Does any of them not? I think all of the news fathers have some sort of build-up, right? Middle has the unpacking of the blade. Arena has closing time. Index has Furioso replica. Dam has disposal. Yeah, they all have like a build up to a really big, really cool move. That's really fun. Well, sort of. Oh, battling in a narrow hallway really takes a lot out of you.
어쩔 수 없어요.
It can't be helped. Fighting in narrow hallways like these is pretty exhausting for people who use long weapons like we do. These enemies weren't much harder than the one we'd fought earlier, but it was inevitable that the sheer number would eventually wear the sinners down.
파우스트 씨, 저들 정체는 대체
What are these things, Faust?
그래, 나도 아까부터 궁금했던.
Yeah, I've been wondering that too. Why are we so tight-lipped all of a sudden?
저것들은
Those entities are.
저것들은
Those entities are.
어떤 존재라고 생각하시나요?
Nice effort, Faust. Nice effort. What do you think those entities are?
네?
Huh?
그걸 방금
Didn't I just ask you the same question? Oh no, are you
저희에게 먼저
giving us a chance to come up with our own answers first? Of course, Faust did not confirm, nor deny his question, but Sinclair was perfectly capable of making up his own interpretation of her silence. There were some things I learned after fighting them, I think. These monsters aren't mad at us. No, do they want to attack us because we're an obstacle? That's not why they're attacking us. Quite! 'Tis apparent that they hunger for art, shouting at anyone and anything in a desperate quest of it.
맞아요. 이 열차 안에서는 배고픔도 목마름도 느껴지지 않을 텐데.
Right. That's strange, though. I thought hunger or thirst wasn't the thing about these trains.
공격 패턴이 이성적인 판단에 기반하지
It could be determined from the entity's behavior that their attack patterns has no basis in rational thought. The source of this behavior can only be traced back to primal aggressiveness. We are getting Musso discussing things attacking based on rational thought. Just attack patterns based on rational thoughts coming from Musso. Just
그리고 또 뭐가 있었죠?
Yes, and was there anything else?
그리고
Anything else?
또 모든 눈이 붉었던
Yeah, you're right. And I mean, there's no sun on this train, right? There's no sun on this train, so that keeps every attack rational. It's obviously the sun can't get in your eyes, and yeah. Anything else? Oh yeah, I think they all had rat eyes. Speaking of eyes,
신체 대부분에
their bodies wreathed in blankets of red.
냄새는 피 냄새다.
I smelled blood, so that's likely what they're made of. Made of?
그러하다면 피가 굳은 결정.
Then it must be that the rat was congealed in a crystallized blood.
네, 감사합니다.
Thank you all.
모두들 유용한
Your
정보였습니다.
insights has all been very helpful. I don't think you should have said it first. It was my turn to start whispering. What did you learn from that?
이번엔 운이 좋았습니다, 단테.
We are unreluctant.
열차에 탑승하기
I
전
have read upon this
다음
subject as a
행성들을 위한 정보를
tangent
열람하던 도중
while perusing information regarding our next destination, moments before we boarded the train. And while that will be a useful element in resolving this situation,
조언대로
the sinners have also been a very good source of intelligence when it came to categorizing and identifying important evidence from the available sea of information. Your advice was correct, Dante. You mean you know what to do to blow this case wide open?
그렇게 장담할 수는 없습니다만
Nothing can be said
적어도
with
시작
absolute certainty at the moment. However, this will be a good place for us to start. With that, Faust turned around and faced the rest of the sinners.
지금부터 이 상황을 타개할 방법을
Give me
제시하겠습니다.
1 second to get a drink. I will now present before you a solution to this predicament.
그냥 쭉쭉
Huh?
끌고 가는 거
Is there
말고도 뭐가
something
있는 거야?
else we got to do other than beating the crap out of whatever's in our way? I'm curious how this might, because like she said, she's been reading up on stuff to do with our next destination, and one of the things that occurs to me is the La Mancha Land IDs have this blood feast thing going on for them, and just like, you know, curious about any potential, I don't know, connection there.
그 자체는 바뀌지
That
않을
will
테지만
not change.
결과적으로
No.
이번 의뢰의
However,
목적이 무엇인지
what I am about to
그리고
show will give
어떻게
you a
W 사이의
better
의뢰를
understanding
완수할
of
수
the
있는지에 대한
purpose
바닥을
behind
잡을 수 있을
W
겁니다.
Corp's contract and provide us with the possible means of finding the method by which we may complete it.
이번 열차
It
그리고
is very
지속적으로 워크
likely
열차에서
that
비슷한
the
사건을
entity
일으킨 전쟁
behind the incidents on this train, and by extension every incident of the same nature, has occurred in previous rope train trips.
매우 높은 확률로 혈귀입니다.
Oh, they do have red eyes. Interesting. I haven't paid attention. Oh, wait. What? Is a blood fiend. Interesting. Don't know yet what blood fiends are. Fiend to me implies like demonic stuff, but that's kind of like my
따라 상태들이 많이 안
Dungeons and
좋았나?
Dragons brain kinda
이 정도
there.
우리일 줄 알았으면 고민할 필요도 없었겠군.
다른 이들의 책도 찾아둘까요?
그래. 하는 김에 부수입도 챙기자고. 저 바이 건 확실히 챙겨줘. 쏠쏠할
Maybe
것 같아.
they're vampires? That seems not unlikely. How much bleed does the middle team do? Would we be... they do some bleed. I just feel like it would be nice to just change up teams a bit, but they do certainly do some bleed. Actually though, we're not in the middle of a canto.
교류회 설레네요.
I don't think we're going to lose for anyone dying. Wait, a blood fiend? What's a blood fiend?
혈기가
A blood fiend? What in the name of wings is that?
네가 그럴 줄은 몰랐는데.
You of all people
그런
haven't
신기한
heard of
관련이라면
blood
뭔지
fiends?
알고 있는 줄 알았어.
That you're our team expert on obscure lore.
듣도보도 못했다.
Really, I have neither read nor heard mention of these blood fiends. Perchance I have let a magazine article slip from my memory. Perchance? But I feel like blood fiends. We're going to your chapter, and blood fiends are involved in your chapter, Don Quixote. Curious. If... I can never tell with you, Don Quixote, if you're telling the truth. Like, oh, if it's part of your dream. If it's part of the impact. Also, I've been thinking lately that I don't know exactly what your dream is. I don't know exactly where the dream is for this Don Quixote. Also, I didn't remember till I got to the very end of the book of Don Quixote that Don Quixote isn't the main character's name. It's Alonso Quijano. There you go, Alonso Quijano. But he goes by Don Quixote for the entire story that I forgot by the time I got to the end of the book that he wasn't named Don Quixote. Is her name Don Quixote? I don't know. Maybe this is Alonso Quijano here speaking. To Alonso Don Quixote himself was a dream. Really, I have neither read no huge mention of these blood fiends. Perchance, I have let a magazine. I actually already read this. Don Quixote furrowed her brow, genuinely lost. It was as though the very word sounded alien to her. I thought they were just monsters to scare children at night. You're supposed to be afraid of Gaulic and sunlight, right? Sounds like a vampire to me. Oh, that sounds a bit different from what I've heard. I heard the fear of Gaulic and sunlight is just a rumor. And what they're really afraid of is water. Greetings, Owlkin. I have been briefed on the existence of blood fiends in the past, when I served as a commanding officer. And I have seen the dregs they command. Though my memory isn't very clear, I am quite certain that these monsters here do not resemble what I've seen. Interesting. Different cultures and perceptions of vampires crashing over. That's what I was thinking, yeah. There was a blood fiend. There was a blood fiend among the ranks of the fingers too. But the things that blood fiend commanded weren't rubber glove looking like these. Interesting that there's a blood fiend among the ranks of the fingers too. Ha! Interesting. There's something off about this one. That one didn't span these drags with abandon like this. But don't you know this already? Yes, I see that some sinners have encountered blood fiends in the past. A long-winded explanation seems unnecessary. As many of you have stated thus far, the entities we faced in this train do not appear to be blood fiends. In a sense, they are drag-like beings that have failed to become kindreds. They are referred to as blood bags among relevant parties, according to information I am aware of. Not a terrible name. Why would anyone name someone Bloodbag? As it has been said prior, it is impossible for passengers to disappear aboard warp trains under normal circumstances. Though our reserve of intelligence regarding warp trains, or WCOP, is vast if incomplete, we could not find any exception to the above rule. Within that reserve of intelligence, however, I have discovered that inserting a previously unseen variable into the equation allows for the formulation of a new hypothesis.
그 혈귀라는 곳은
Wait, you're saying that these blood fiends can completely erase people or passengers from existence?
휘발된다는 쪽에
A more
가까울 것
accurate descriptor would be to say that they are either dissolved or vaporized.
휘발.
Dissolved?
워프 열차는
No matter the degree of violence the passengers may indulge in, no matter how severe their wounds may be, warp trains can revert them to their initial states at the beginning of the journey.
폭력이라는 것에는
While the
여러
word
가지가 있겠지.
violence is a rather large umbrella term,
분명
it likely
존재하겠죠.
involves activities such as cannibalization.
하지만 열차 운행간 시간이
However, as the passengers' collective time itself is in moratorium for the duration of the train's operation, digestion is not a biological process that should be active. In other words, even cannibalized passengers can be reconstructed. Is the time moratorium different for a blood fiend?
그저 입에 쑤셔 넣었을 뿐이라면 뱃속을 갈라낸 그 핏줄 같은 것으로
Wait,
연결된 조각들을 맞춰볼 수
if a
있어.
blood fiend is like a vampire, then vampires are... Okay, it depends on the law, I suppose, that you're following, but oftentimes the vampires are considered to be dead. And if their dead does being disconnected from death matter for them, maybe if it doesn't matter for them, then the disconnect from death and the stops hunger from mattering wouldn't matter either. Just maybe. Greetings, Yoshihide. If they are merely stuffed into the digestive tract, then I suppose they could get the passenger to retrieve the chewed up chunks and piece them back together via the vein-like things connecting each individual.
하지만 피주머니들은
However, such is not true for blood bags.
찾아다니는 이들은
Blood bags are,
희생자의
by
혈액을
their nature,
흡수함으로써
obsessed with
자신들의
blood.
존재를 유지할 수
Their
있고
existence hinges on supplying themselves with the blood of their victim,
유지비로 혈액 또한
and it
조금씩
sadly
소비한다고
must
합니다.
consume a minuscule amount of blood to maintain their forms.
방금은 소화는 하지 않는다며?
Wait, what? Didn't you just say that digestion's not a thing here?
추론해 보자면
If I were to continue my deductions, perhaps
단순히 에너지를 얻기 위한 식사
consumption
과정과는
of
다른
blood
것 같습니다.
for blood fiends and blood bags is a process fundamentally different from our consumption of nutrients for energy. I wonder how they'd interact with Dante's clock. Yeah.
그들에게 혈액이란 감정,
To them,
성취,
blood is a culmination,
존재의
an entailment
자신들을 유지하기
of
위한
something
많은 것들이
that
포함되어
forms the
있는
self,
무언가.
including but not limited to emotions, ambitions,
수업
wealth,
따위의 과정과는
purposes of
별개로 이루어질
existence.
것입니다.
Then it must follow that they can spend their blood at will, which is a process isolated from other biological processes such as digestion.
그 뭐냐 절반도 못 알아들었거든.
I ain't following even half of that.
지금 시간이 유예되었음에도 히스클리프
You exist in a moratoria of time at the present moment, Heathcliff, yet your emotions still persist, do they not? Anger, sorrow, and joy, they continue to spark within you.
그야 뭐.
So the point is that the they should have a sign outside the rope train saying no blood fiends allowed, please take another method of transportation. And then this would all be solved. Well, I suppose they are.
그것이 변한 것인지
Though we cannot tell whether they are in a state of alteration or whether they remain ensnared in the wheel of creation and destruction, it can be said that emotions once past exist not in continuation. The passenger's will to live, the oath of this very existence in which they thrive, does it not all gently atrophy into non-existence, even amidst the ceased time? Miss Faust seeks to illustrate the similarity between how emotions are to ourselves and how blood is to blood fiends. No one dead, no blood, no service.
그래서 바로 휘발된다.
I like it. It's even catchy. It reads easily. It's not like a run-on sign that people will stop reading halfway. Gotcha. So that's why she said their blood is vaporized, huh?
승객의 구성 요소.
If that's the case, then the very blood that's supposed to bind these chunks of flesh together will also evaporate, which means that they can't be pieced back together.
논지에 어긋남은 없군.
There is no incongruence in that logic. Everyone fell silent for a moment. That was way too much information to process at once. We didn't even know what to make of them either.
질문을 몇 가지 하고 싶소.
I would like to ask a few questions, if you would permit me. Isan was the first to break the silence.
피주머니라 하는 존재는
Could it be said that blood bags are direct creations of blood fiends?
어떠한 방식으로
If such is the case, then by which method do they...
거기까지는 정보의 접근이 제한되었군요.
Is she saying? Is she going to... That information is inaccessible at the moment. Faust replies, avoiding Isan's gaze. There isn't anything I can do about this. The sinners will only get more stressed if they find out what's going on with Faust, and that's something we both want to avoid.
제한. 그렇군. 과거 그대가 말했던
Oh, does Isan... No. Wait. Inaccessible. Ah, indeed. Now I recall what you have said in the past.
추측이지만 피주머니로 만들기 위해서는
This is only a speculation.
보입니다.
However,
그렇지
I
않다면
assume that a form
가장
of direct
성공신 존재인
physical
저희가 멀쩡한 것이
contact is needed to turn an individual into a blood bag. If such were not the case, then we, who are likely the greatest obstacles in the entity's goal at the moment, would have been the first ones to be turned. At this point in their journey, I think they'd be most worried for Faust. Yeah, I don't think I don't think Dante and Faust need to keep this from the sinners. Maybe at the very, very start, when they were just like getting used to, okay, we're not actually going for a train ride, we're going for a train investigation. When they were still settling into that concept, maybe keep it from them. But at this point, they fully settled into, we're investigating. You could share that information at this point, I think.
일리 있어.
Like the idea of, you know, not dumping everything on them at once, you know, refuse to share with them the problem that, hey, we're investigating this distortion and stuff, and then wait a little bit, then go by the way Faust. Indeed. In that case, that villain of a blood fiend must be hiding out somewhere aboard this train.
그렇겠죠. 조금 전에 보았던 해결사의 말을
Indeed,
신뢰한다면
if we are to believe the words of the fixer from earlier, then there is a high likelihood that the horde is advancing in this direction from the back of the train. The interesting thing is, I suppose it depends what sort of a fusion of vampire powers these blood fiends might have, because depending on the version of vampires, some fantasies of vampires, mythoses of vampires can have powers that could make finding one very difficult.
즉, 나아가다 보면
In other words, continuing down the train cars will lead us straight to the blood fiend. Very well! I shan't forsake this opportunity to bring peace to the souls of the innocent passengers who have perished at the villain's hands! Dante. It seems that Don Quixote was now invigorated, while the other sinners also appeared rather satisfied now that we had a clearer sight of our goal. Faust, who stood amidst them, nodded in my direction. Well then, let's go. We're making the best of what's available to us at the moment. Let's move forward. For now. Oh wait, I completely forgot what. Yep, we're doing this. We're doing this. We're changing it up. We're killing. I mean, fact, hitting them with bleed, but you know, we're just going to try this. We don't use this team often. And stream, anyways. Why not?
영감이 떠올랐어요.
거기서 마지막으로 남긴 말? 검문 확보.
Come on, enemies, you've got to survive a little. Survive a little bit, enemies, please. Oh, there's Don Quixote dead. Oh, there's Faust dead.
좀 더 멋진 상흔이 남은 작품이 되길 바랬는데.
Okay, how many more enemies? Come on, and give me enough enemies, please. Good. There's
그려낸 대로
이게 심장이.
알고 있겠지. 예측은 의미 없다는 걸.
슬슬
저련.
Is this battle going to go long enough? That's the question. Because at this rate, it doesn't seem like it.
당신도 칼레르 모두 전부 다다고 숨막히도록 견뎌왔고
Oh.
절박하게 갈망했으니 헤아릴 수 없이 저주했으니.
You know, for some reason, when I do mirror dungeons with this team, I get to the end of the mirror dungeon, and Yoshu is the one with 99% of the damage. It's like, none of my other sinners were even trying to help out with the damage.
시연합니다.
이제 갖고 놀기 틀렸다. 그쯤 해줬으니 보장자 한번 벗겨야겠군.
Time to unpack is a stupidly powerful skill. Like, just getting it as a free thing.
뜨거울 거야. 조금 많이.
내 검은 가져갈 수 없을 거야.
완성되지 못한 탓을
마지막으로 남길 말은
소리와 호흡을 멈추고
Come on, we're just going to finish them off real quick. Then we're going to have like one round of real fun here.
시연합니다.
이제 한 사람의 상황을
Oh no, don't finish. I wanted to use... Okay, yeah, these combats still aren't going to go long enough for this.
당신을 죽여라 절규하는 내 모든 시간들의 아우성이.
저를 묻어주리까.
I know I didn't have to use alley blades there. I just want... It's just the way I do.
덧없는 삶. 예정된 죽음이라지만
It's more fun. Okay, we... Come on, they took all of them out, so we just... It's a 1v1 here. This is like the least fair 1v1. It's a very unfair 1v1.
그려낸 대로.
I was hoping the battle would last longer. And there would be more enemies left at that point. Yeah, you spoke too soon, yeah. And our blood fiends didn't last through like one attack. Up here, 6 attacks. She's still dealt a lot of the damage. Look at how much damage all of them took. They took a lot of damage. I don't know how they took so much damage. Mysterious. It's mysterious. Yeah, they tanked. They were being kind.
이번 전투가 끝나면 반드시
$11 enemies, okay.
여명의 빛과 같이.
사냥 끝. 모조리 해체해줄 심장을 노려.
선배를 스승님을 행복하게 할 수 있다면 이 끝에서
What's going on there?
꿈을 나눌 수만 있다면 그 어떤 두려움도 저를 도망치게 할 수 없을 거예요.
They are not a big fan of Gregor.
여전히 무섭고 겁이 나. 그럼에도 망설이지 마. 나를 비추는 주홍빛이 꺼지지 않도록 거세게 휘몰아쳐라.
실력을 잘 이용하지 못하셨을 뿐.
더하면 해준다.
What's her sanity at? Okay, her sanity's high enough. Okay, let me check. 18 butterfly coffin 5. Okay.
자신 있으면 받아봐.
역할대로.
심장을 노려.
Oh no, really? Why? I thought she had high enough sanity. Why'd she?
망설이면 나아갈 수 없어.
이렇게들 후회. 자네 많이 지쳤군. 새벽녘.
Sometimes it's difficult for me to trust Otis, you know. Sometimes she's tough for me to trust when she's, you know, killing me. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Killing me sometimes just puts a damper on things. She just has her own rules. My phone just buzzed with a notification. It says that my Inca villain is refilled in the Limbus company. I better get on Limbus company.
칼날 사출. 나비가 날개짓하듯 나쁘진 않았습니다. 실력을 잘 이용하지 못하셨을 뿐. 실력을 잘 이용하지 못하셨을 뿐.
심장을 노려.
실력을 잘 이용하지
나아갈
못하셨을
수
뿐.
없어.
잠깐.
Manager Esquire! Halt! Behold, it's this Poe Follow! He lives still! Don Quixote, round eyes wide open, began sprinting somewhere. Oh, it's one of the W Corp. Interesting. No! Stay away from me, you monsters! Hey, man! We're not those monsters, you alright? Huh?
당신도 변하기 시작한 건가요? 그럼 벌레 팔 같은 걸로도
Hey, Grago doesn't like you mentioning that sort of stuff. No, Agent. The Dome! You're starting to mutate throughout you! You must be turning into some bug-like monster! What? No, this is... Grago stumbled forward, scoffed, and cast his gaze towards the floor in disbelief. Well, no surprise there, because I suppose there's no way to tell right away whether this arm's a monster, prosthetic or whatnot. It is possible that you are mistaken due to his bioprosthetic being of an older, outdated make that is now rarely seen in the city. Prosthetic. That's a relief. I thought those crazy bastards were trying to break in again. As you can see, my legs are messed up. I had no choice but to hide in here. So what are the W Corp employees doing aboard this train? You're right, from what we found out about the rope train and through the identities, I can't imagine why any of them would ever willingly board this train. You're the contract fixer, right? We were ordered to assist you with your contract. I said we, but I'm the only one left. Every single one of my colleagues began losing their minds in the car over there. This cannot be! Post! Is there truly no way to cure the blood bags?
죄송합니다. 그 정보도 아직 열람할
My
수
apologies. Access to that information is prohibited at this moment as well. Though her voice and expression were both as serene as alloy, there was something gloomy about the way she said it. I may have been too reliant on Faust in too many places. Faust muttered in a barely audible volume. I don't know what I can do to help the sinews in a situation like this either. I'd also grown too used to Faust's omniscience because I could always trust it to be there for me. I was starting to realize that I don't have the means to dig myself out of a hole like this. No, maybe I was too reliant on the sinners as a whole. If, when the time comes for them to depend on me, when they can no longer stand on their own, can I really manage them? Lead them to the right choices? Doubt colored with fear begins to rise like an ominous plume of smoke. Hello, what can I do? Right? The agent straggled to some corner of the room with his wounded leg and pulled on a lever. They made good use of the space. And the wall behind what had initially appeared to be a foraging chair for employees spun open. Oh, what in the name of Venus is this? Pure chance. Hast thou hidden here a weapon most powerful, a weapon most feared by the blood fiends?
1등석에서 본 캡슐이랑 비슷하게 보이긴
That holds some resemblance to a capsule we saw in the first class cow. But why would that thing be here? The cleanup agent slumped into the pad that appeared in the wall. He's going to sleep.
이제 좀 살긴.
Finally.
무엇을 할 생각인가?
What is it that thou seekest to do?
이런 상황을 위해 W사에서는 직원용 소형
WCOPE prepared a small hibernation pad for employees in case of these emergencies.
그럼
Really? Then, huh?
그럼 남은 일은
You were so helpful.
부탁드려요.
Good luck with the rest of the mission. Why wasn't he in it from the start? And why is he... It doesn't seem to me like he had any point being aboard the train. Which isn't his fault. With that, he settled into the capsule and shut the hatch behind him. When the dough covering the pad closed, only the folding chair and the wall covered with viscera remained. He's gone.
갔어.
There he goes.
가버리셨군요.
He has departed the scene. We blankly stared at the wall the agent disappeared into. Well then, I guess we got let's move on to the next cow. Keep on keeping on.
확실한 승리였어요. 돌아가면 저번처럼 홈파티라도 할까요?
Okay. Oh, insufficient.
이거 참 설레는구려.
Okay.
자신 있으면
낙인을
받아봐.
새겨드리죠. 자!
사냥 끝.
He was being capped by the strongest force in the city. Company obligations, a terrifying force in the city. And truly a dystopian force in the city as well. What's your sanity yet? No, you can't use that. You'll just attack me.
칼날 사출.
더하면
됐습니다.
망설이지 말고.
심장을 노려.
해체 끝. 이제 같은 수에 난통할 거다.
나비가 날개를 타듯. 실력을 잘 이용하지 못하셨을 뿐.
안심이라. 고통은 없어.
설령 녹아내려 추락하더라도 괜찮으니 이 노을이 식지 않도록 더 뜨겁게.
Yeah, we'll do. $25 sanity. She can use this.
여전히 무섭고 겁이 나. 그럼에도 멈추고 싶지 않아.
자네 이렇게들 허약해서야 새벽녘. 자네 많이 지쳤군.
마저 태우겠습니다. 나쁘진 않았습니다.
다음.
Okay, and how many more enemies? Okay, we're at 7 out of 11. Let's go here. Yeah. Anything else I want to do? That seems good.
자신 있으면 받아봐.
반응형 사출. 전부 조각 내두자.
역시 우리
나갈 수 없어.
이렇게들
나갈 수 없어.
실력을 잘 이용하지 못하셨을 뿐.
Nice.
확실한 승리였어요. 돌아가면 저번처럼 홈파티라도 할까요?
Ooh! Level up to level 57 and Intervallo capacity. We'll go a little longer. At this point, I feel like it's, well, no, I think why don't we wrap it up here for the night? I'm starting to actually get a little drowsy, a little earlier than normal. Usually I don't get drowsy quite yet. Yeah. We will wrap it up here. I'm guessing we'll be able to get through this and finish the Intervallo next Limbus company stream. It's kind of hard for me to say, but usually the Intervallos aren't so long, and it's like story-wise, it seems like we might be able to get through the story that they've set up for us in one more stream. I'm really excited to get to Kanto 7 to see Dan Quixote's chapter. Also, I'm curious. Okay, so Dream of the Rad Chamber has been voted most on the poll, but also I forgot to put Crime and Punishment on. So yeah, I'm also going to need to consider whether I want to read Crime and Punishment next. I'm really excited for Don Quixote's chapter. Also with a little bit of dread at Don Quixote's chapter because of how I like, because of the name of it and because of how the end of the book went. It's very dread and just I can't wait at the same time. I think I'm going to do some mirror dungeons between now and then. I mean, so far I'm pretty good at that, almost always getting all my weekly mirror dungeons in. And then... Oh wait, what's it? Oh right! I can use this to get an announcer. Right. That's cool, I might want to use it on an announcer. I don't know what announcer. But I think I'm going to be using some of the yellow boxes here and some shouts to get one of the La Mancha land. And then we'll be able to try a bit of a La Mancha land theme. Just need to decide which one. The unfortunate thing I'll point out is, so we've got Otis, Radion, and Grago. All of whom I've used their shouts for dispensing purely recently, so I actually don't have a ton of any of their shouts. So that's kind of unfortunate. Which is another reason that I was like, oh, wait, where? The Prince of La Mancha land's perfect because I have most shouts for me, so but no, that doesn't actually matter there, does it? Because I can't get that. Anyways, this is the last stream of this week. I didn't get a schedule out this week because of some uncertainty with stuff. Specifically, we've been having trouble scheduling the D&D streams, if you've noticed. Been trying to schedule that for ages and things keep making it difficult. But if you've ever played in a D&D group, oftentimes D&D can be difficult to schedule. And maybe it's even more so with streaming D&D, and that makes it even more complicated. But yeah, I do not know what we're streaming next week at the moment. Probably Limbus Company in addition to other stuff. I do not have a schedule ready. I hope next week I can actually get a schedule out for you. There's a lot of different games I'd like to get to besides Limbus Company. So I don't know. I hope everyone has enjoyed today, though. Including, I'm kind of want to do another stream of Fields of Mystery. That was fun. But at the same time, I don't know if there's interest in that, and I kind of also wanted to do Genshin Impact and Hankai Star Rail and a million. I hope everyone has enjoyed today, though. And until next time, please do try and have a blast for me. Bye.